Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 378 of Spittin Chiclets, presented by Pink Whitney from our friends at New Amsterdam Vodka here in the Barstool Sports podcast family. Hello, everybody from Atlanta, Georgia. We're here on a business trip. We'll get to that a little bit later, but whole bunch of shit to get to. It's trade deadline, lots of trades, a pair of interviews, bunch of other shit. But let's check in with the fellas first. Producer Mikey Grinelli, what's new, brother?
Nothing's really new. I'm happy to be here in Atlanta, but I'm even more happy to go to West Virginia on Friday. Me and Biz going to the Wheeling Nailers game.
That's right.
Throwback night. I'm excited.
That's going to be the last and final filmed episode of the ECHL Road Warriors, or what do you call it?
ECHL Jungle Series.
Jesus Christ. I can't remember anything right now because there was a zillion trades that broke, so if my brain's a little scrambled, forgive me, folks.
That's all right. What's up, Wood Dog?
Not much, guys. Pleasure to be here in Biz's beautiful, humble abode in Atlanta.
My
in
trap
the middle
house?
of the absolute hood. Everyone who thought I lived in a crack house, come check out Biz's rental for the next 6 weeks in Atlanta. But still, it's great to see you guys. And I drove up. So I shipped my car home from here. So I drove up from Lauderdale to Atlanta. I left Saturday at 4 o'clock. And I was going to drive to Valdosta, Georgia, which I figured was 5 to 6 hours, and then finish the remaining 3 hours the next morning, Sunday morning. But I got to Valdosta on a Red Bull, and I was like, I ain't stopping, baby. I'm still going. It was like,
well, where'd you stop? You stopped at a convenience store.
I'm getting there. So I got to talk about something. But quickly, I was like Kramer when he's going, like, if anyone's seen Seinfeld, when he's just going as long as he can till the car finally runs out of gas. So I was finally going. I'm like, all right, I'm going to just bang this out. 3 more hours. That's no problem. It was probably 10. Yeah, it was probably 10:15. I'm like, I can do that. Be there by 1, no problem. I had heard a podcast a little while back about a store, a gas station rest stop store called Buc-ee's, BUC-EE''S. And the description of this place was wild. It was like crazy. I was like, oh my God, if I ever get the chance, I'll check one of those out. It's a southern place. I guess it's based out of Texas, and they're in Florida, Georgia. So sure as shit. And I had no idea about the ride up. I'd maybe see one. So I'm driving along, and all of a sudden, I see a big sign that says, do you like big Buc-ee's? 156 miles away. I was like, oh my God, perfect. I knew I was about 200.
Detour.
I knew I was I was 230 miles at the time. And I'm like, oh, sick. This is perfect. So I Googled it up quick, open 24 hours. I'm like, done. I'm going to check this place out finally. So I roll into this place at about 12:30. Now, this is Sunday morning, but Saturday night still. There is 250, roughly, gas pumps. Like, I'm not kidding. This is a monster. And it looks almost like a giant Target. Like, I'm going to guess 40 to 50,000 square feet this place is. So I go in there, and I'm like, oh, my God. People are unloading off of a bus to go into this place. I'm like, what is going on? There had to be 150 people in there at the time. And you walk in, welcome to Buc-ee's. I'm like, holy shit. I was like a kid in a candy store. I'm like, walking around. I have never in my life experienced a place like this. It is one of the most impressive, coolest spots. I will drive out of my way 156 miles in the future to see it. They have, I got a pulled pork sandwich, and then I got a pulled brisket sandwich for later on. I went down, there was a wall the size of the, first of all, the place was like Hakkasan, like I mentioned. It was buzzing in there. People are videoing too. It was like people knew what they were doing. They were going there to experience a Buc-ee's. So there's like people everywhere, and there's a jerky wall, like a beef jerky wall. They have tons of jerky. Then I look over. They got fish tacos. They got fudge. Dude, this is on the food side. They had what? Oh, no fudge kid there. No fudge kid there. This kid wouldn't even be allowed into a Buc-ee's. He's a Nantucket piece of shit. Buc-ee's is too blue collar for him. So I then I walk into the other section. There is a merch section that would make Barstool Sports jealous. I'm talking, I tried on 14 different hoodies. None of them fit me correctly. They were either way too big or way too small. So I ended up getting a couple coffee mugs and things like that. Then you go over to like the home lifestyle section where they got, the signs, home is where the heart is, Buc-ee's is where you.
It was like a Cabela's of gas stations.
I don't even know what Cabela's is. it's one of the most impressive places I've ever been. I'm telling you, they must have had 500 fountain drink options. They had every flavor of Gatorade that's ever existed, going back to when Gatorade first was invented in Gainesville, Florida, in the 80s, I'm guessing. They had hot soup. They had ice creams. They had, by the way, you can get liquor there. They had any cigarette ever created. They had Russian, fuck Russia. They had cigarettes from Spain. They had. I'm talking. If you ever get the chance to go to a Buc-ee's, you have to do it, and you will tweet me or text me if we're friendly and you have my number, and let me know. Thank you for telling me about this place, and I want to thank the golf podcast that I heard. It was a spin-off of the golf podcast I listened to. But it was amazing, and it was an experience I swear to God I'll never forget. So I said to the woman, I said, is it always this busy? She goes, oh, honey, you can't even move around in here on normal business hours. You're just nuts to butts the whole time, baby. I was like, holy shit. I go, well, even at 12:30 on like a Saturday night? She goes, oh, it's raining outside. There'd be way more people in here. You're lucky. It's not even crowded at all. So, and the service.
Oh, you haven't heard of the Buc-ee's nightclub?
Buc-ee's after hours.
There's a Buc-ee's speakeasy, but I didn't know the password to get in. But
they actually got one at the new Islanders rink.
So I would have got in at around like 1:30, but I spent an hour in Buc-ee's, so I got in at like 2:30, checked in, and then slept in.
So Pennsylvania is all about the Wawas and the Sheets battle.
Yeah.
You're saying Buc-ee's just shits all over both of them.
Buc-ee's is like a house Elon Musk owns, and Wawa is this trash house you're living in right now, and like there isn't even a comparison to Buc-ee's. I'm telling you, 50,000 square feet, dude. Wow. Monster.
Well,
so
we got a local dice game going on my porch later. So if anybody wants to pop by,
walking in. Avery told me yesterday walking in there was a gentleman that lives in your neighborhood. And he measured, how do you get a house that nice? I'm like, this fucking house? But apparently this is the top of the neighborhood. So good for you, Biz.
Yeah, there you go.
I think the big shock, Whit, is that you drove from Fort Lauderdale to Atlanta. I was shocked when you told me that. I mean, it's a sizable drive.
Sometimes I love a nice long drive, just hitting the road, getting some calls out of the...
I finished a book on tape. I had read half of it, and then when I realized I was doing the drive. So the plan for the drive was like, I'm going to play golf. I was like, I'll stop in a couple places, and then... that just kind of all fell apart. Like, I couldn't leave when I wanted to leave because then I would have, because I'm here for 4 nights. Then I would have been gone for 8 total days from the family. So then I was like, oh, shit. And I'd already planned on getting the car picked up in Atlanta. So it was more like my own doing.
Yeah.
But, Biz, I actually really enjoyed it. So the book that I finished was called 10% Happier. It's by this guy, Dan Harris. It's kind of about meditation and how he got into meditation after being a news correspondent, and he had a panic attack on air. Really interesting stuff. I've meditated a little bit in the past. I think to get rid of the jumbleness in my mind, and I need to start doing that. Like 30 minutes a day would be amazing. So I'm kind of on the path to trying to do a little bit more meditation to maybe become a little bit happier of a person. As you can tell, there's times I'm not exactly like thrilled with what's going on in my life when I should be. But either way, listening to the book on tape, doing the ride, I had music pumping. I put in like 70s rock. I ended up doing like all these different radio stations to get some likes on Spotify.
So did the book give you any tricks in order to use when maybe you're going through it, or
no? It's more about like how this guy began to do it, and this guy went all in. I mean, he went to a meditation camp 10 days. You can't speak. Like that. That's not in the car. I don't have that in the car. Imagine RA.
Have to duct tape.
Jesus Christ. So I think that there's not necessarily... there are tips in there, but it was more about like how he started doing it and how his life changed with it. It was a good read. It was a really good read. I don't even know how I saw it. It was a New York Times bestseller at one point. Yeah. But interesting trip for myself. And now I'm flying home, though. I'm done with the driving. I was thinking about doing the whole way home, but no, that's like...
So what are you going to do? Ship your car from here?
I shipped it from here today. Yeah, the guy picked it up. And I just drove it right onto the trailer and gave him a little tip money to make sure he didn't like Ferris Bueller my car around, and he was off.
Oh, there we go. Well, you probably see the new swag we're sporting, the new spring golf line from Pink Whitney.
It's beautiful.
Bucket hats, T-shirts.
The flowers, the green, the pink. It's just beautiful. I love it. You got to check it out when it goes on sale. The putter head cover, great, along with all the driver and stuff, the hats, the hoodies. I'm really impressed with this line, and I think Champion makes some very comfortable stuff.
No doubt. St. Patrick's Day passed since our last step. You guys do anything? I don't know. It's a big deal, more than it seemed to be 30 years ago. But you guys have any cocktails?
I didn't do one thing on St. Patty's Day.
Did nothing. Didn't have a drink. Believe it or not.
I played golf St. Patty's Day. Me and a buddy were down like $3,000 with 4 holes to go, and I birdied 17, 18. We ended up 400. So just an unbelievable swing. And it was against a guy from Ireland on St. Patty's Day. He took a beating on the last few holes. And then I watched some basketball and took the kids swimming. So, yeah, there's no more like ripping it up all day at the bars. It was more about just being a family man after playing golf and gambling.
What about you, G? Anything? St. Pat's?
Yes. I went down to Stone Street in New York City. It's actually a blast. It's kind of like, it reminds me of Boston, cobblestone streets. It's like outdoor drinking. Had a blast,
Nice.
actually.
Good stuff. Also, the Chiclets Cup video drop. A couple more. The Big Selects video drop.
Oh, man, what a good
Guys,
time.
you guys
Sean Apuzzo did a great job on the edits. We had a battle, and obviously if you've watched it, we took a licking from Nose Face Killer. This guy's the real deal.
99 of deck.
The 99 of deck. So if you haven't had a chance to go check it out, go to our go and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And we have 2 episodes, and we are going to be keeping that going. Onto Buffalo is the next location. Rumor has it that the 99 of deck will not be there because he's actually going to be having a kid. So that's the rumor as of now.
Negotiation tactic.
Is it really?
You never know
Maybe
with
he wants the
North Face.
Someone
flights.
slept with him?
Somebody wants the flights and hotels.
I'm just kidding. No,
Yeah,
You're my
take it
boy.
back,
You're my
Whit.
boy.
Jesus, man.
Come on, man.
Great job by Sean editing. A great battle. We will be getting back in the kind of like the negotiation as far as like who's going to come back as far as our team. We might need a few more ringers, and we definitely need a goaltender. No offense to Mike McKenna, who absolutely stunk the joint out.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess I didn't see him too much.
I mean, if you watch the video, you're going to see what happened, folks.
Yeah, no, your goaltender was no doubt your weakest position. If you had even probably
Well, maybe if you would have
goaltending.
came back, RA.
First 2 games I might have been there, but I don't know, man. Four fucking games in 2 days. I'm an old fuck and I'm out of shape, man.
You got a
tough.
verbal commitment from Gronk to play goalie so far.
Oh, wow.
And rumor has it he might be heading to Buffalo.
To the Bills with Brady coming back? What are you
Well, now
talking
that
about?
Brady's coming back, maybe not. But his brother was saying that there was a possibility.
Rumor boys strike again.
The rumor
There you go.
boys.
All right, well, like I said, a bunch of trades to get to. We got a pair of guests. We're going to have Sam Bennett from the Florida Panthers joining us shortly, and also our buddy in St. Louis, Cam Janssen, give us an update on the Blues. First, though, we want to say if you're still not over the moves your team made or did not make at the deadline, then relax with some nice and smooth Pink Whitney, sold wherever fine liquors are sold. Or if you prefer, belly up at your favorite hole in the wall and grab some of that nice Pink Whitney. Shots, whatever, however. Shots, soda, however. How do you take yours, Biz? What's your preferred?
I
Pink
like the
Whitney?
shots.
Yeah.
I like doing it. It's
Nips.
30%, right? So it doesn't hit you like a Jaeger or any of those other ones would. It's nice and easy. I know the college girls like it. That's the biggest demographic it's hitting. But for all you gentlemen out there, it's the way to go. Smooth and steady.
Biz
New
big
bar
on
in
the
New
nips.
York City called the Canuck for Canadians. They have Pink Whitney shot skis everywhere. The best Pink Whitney watering hole in the city.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, shout out to Canuck.
Hockey on in all
That's
times.
a cool name for a bar, too.
But we do have a lot of action on the trade front.
Oh, what a
happening.
day it was. It felt back, I don't remember the year, but there was a year or two stretch where there was like 50 trades, it felt like. And it slowed down a little bit. I remember last year, all the deals went down before the deadline day. And Duthie almost didn't go to work at TSN, but today we got some action. Even though there was some stuff that happened prior this week, we at least had some excitement as the day wound down. The deadline wound
I
down.
remember this as the biggest deadline day of all time. Maybe not as far as like big names, but every team, at least in the East, I felt like every team added a solid defenseman and at least a guy up front. And in some cases, with a team out West, adding a Vezina winning goaltender.
Yep, the big name went Monday. Marc-Andre Fleury. The last couple of days, we started hearing his name associated with Minnesota quite a bit, and it turned out there was something there because Billy G dealt for his old teammate Monday. He sent the Blackhawks a conditional second-round pick that would become a first-rounder if Minnesota makes the Western Conference Finals and Marc-Andre Fleury accounts for 4+ wins in the first 2 rounds. To make room for him, the Wild sent Kaapo Kähkönen, goaltender, to San Jose for defenseman Jacob Middleton. Minnesota also added Nicholas Deslauriers from Anaheim, tough guy there, for a 3rd and 23. But first off, Marc-Andre to Minnesota. Again, this is something we didn't really start hearing rumblings until a couple days ago, and now it's happened.
It's a great deal. Biz went on record saying that Minnesota is his sleeper team. It's his fifth team now, but let me tell you.
Sleeper team out west.
Okay, so you still got to pick your sleeper team out east, and that'll be 6 teams, but I'm with you, Biz. And I actually didn't really respect or understand how good of a season Minnesota had been having until I really went over some stats that you mentioned. And they're third in the league in wins right now, I believe, or third in the conference at least. They got 36 wins. I think they're only behind Colorado and Calgary. Their offense, I didn't realize, was as good as
fourth for goals for.
Fourth for goals for in the NHL. So scoring is not too much of an issue. They got 2 great lines that could score. They got a big-ass line with Foligno and Greenway, and they can run amok, and they can play physical, and they can beat you up. And goaltending had been an issue. And so all of a sudden, when you hear Fleury maybe didn't want to go anywhere, and he's uprooted his family so many different times lately, and I really think the fact that him and Billy Guerin had won a Stanley Cup before and had a relation, and Grinelli did a good job mentioning Ray Sherrill is now a part of the Wild staff, and he's got a familiarity with Marc-Andre. Maybe that was a big factor. And also the case where Chicago is a pretty close flight. You know, you can shoot back to see your family. If you do have a day off, they can come up and see you. If they're not going there, I don't know. Maybe they are moving with them. But what a move. A power move from a team who you said really had to go for it this year because of the cap hits they're going to get crushed with the next 2 seasons.
Well, I mean, I was on doing a couple Sportsnet hits, and Kelly Rudy mentioned that Cam Talbot truly believes he's a number 1 and wasn't sure how maybe he would feel about the fact that they felt that they needed maybe to add an extra guy as far as goaltending. Well, if there's one guy who can come in and calm things as a netminder with when surrounded by goaltending controversy, so to speak, it's Marc-Andre Fleury. He dealt with it in Pittsburgh with Matt Murray. They went to the conference finals against Ottawa. I believe it was in Game 7. He handed the reins over to Murray. He took over, won Game 7, and then we don't even need to talk about the Vegas Golden Knights situation. So I see it as a 1A, 1B situation. Some of you people who heard me talk about the Mrazek-Campbell 1A, 1B situation are saying, shut the fuck up with the 1A, 1B. Fuck you. We'll get to that later.
Mrazek's on waivers.
But
unclaimed.
But they solidify in the fact that, let's say Talbot continues to have struggles, they can lean on Fleury and vice versa. You do have a 1A, 1B type of situation. Now, one of the other issues that Minnesota was having was on the penalty kill and with the amount of goals that they've been giving up lately in general. We can't just throw the goaltending under the bus. And with the penalty kill, and you mentioned with the connection to Billy G and Ray Shero, maybe one of the reasons why Minnesota ended up being the team was the fact that he was let in on some inside information as to not only do we have this team who can provide a bunch of offense, 4th in the league as far as goals scored, we are going to go address the things that we need to address. The penalty kill. They pick up Jost. He can help out on the penalty kill, right? They're one of the worst teams on the penalty kill, especially as of late. Then they go pick up Delorier, and then a surprise pickup, I would say, from the San Jose Sharks, a name that wasn't really being thrown out there quite a bit, was Middleton.
Solid defensive defenseman.
Solid defensive defenseman. If you look at his analytic numbers, I'm not the analytics guy, but not only eye test, but everything confirms that he's a guy who they can lean on in that category. So bingo, bango. They address all the issues they need to do, not the top 6 forwards. And you mentioned that big line of Foligno and Greenway. Well, who do they got in the middle? Eriksson Ek. He's a fucking monster too. So they are big. They're mean. They have big, mean guys who can play. And then they add Delorier to the mix to where now the other bigger players who are leaned on more as far as the play is concerned can worry more about the playing. And if the fisticuffs need to occur, off to Delorier. So Billy G, and I said it, we know they're getting 14 sheets the next 2 years onto their cap because of the buyouts. They're getting ruined. This year it's only 4.7. He addressed every single issue they needed to address, and Billy G had the best deadline of any GM in the National Hockey League. Keep the fucking change.
Wow. I mean, it's hard to argue. Going out and getting Fleury is that big of a move where I got some other teams in mind that we'll get to in terms of having great deadlines, but I do respect the hell out of Minnesota and Guerin going all in, because as a fan base, when you've had the season they've had, even with the recent struggles, it's like, oh, please get us a little bit of help. Do something here, and boom, he went out and did a bunch.
Also, Biz, is a little GM on GM crime. Kyle Davidson, I guess him and Dubas had a little tete-a-tete. Kyle Davidson on Kyle Dubas calling him out regarding the leak
Fucking
of the
right.
Fleury-Toronto discussions. Kyle Davidson said, I'm aware of his comments, and that's something I'll address in private with Kyle. Kyle Dubas called him out for,
What did
for a
Dubas
leak.
say?
Well, first of all, he didn't really call him out. What he said is I wasn't appreciative of the fact that we were in talks about potentially getting Fleury, not knowing what the goaltending situation. Keep in mind, as of right now, their main starter, Jack Campbell, is coming off injured reserve. He was out with a broken rib for me tapping him at the All-Star game. My apologies, Jack Campbell. And it wasn't even a thrown under the bus. He was more irritated at the fact that they'd had discussions. Why does the new GM for Chicago need to make that public other than to ruffle feathers with another Original Six team in a different fucking conference? That's a joke. I agree with Dubas, and frankly, I commend Dubas for not going over the top and telling that guy to lick my fucking cornhole at trying to fucking kick up dust.
I think because everyone hates the Leafs.
Yeah, and and we'll hate them right back. And I might have stepped out of bounds.
Let me tell you, I actually do think it is a little odd to bring that up because not that he cares about what's going on with the Leafs, but it is something that is kind of rattling for goalies to see. I mean, Mrazek's on waivers, so they obviously don't give a fuck about his feelings. But Campbell's trying to come back. He was horrific before he left for the injury.
Because he had a broken rib from All-Star game when I tapped him.
I think worst goalie in the league since January 1st.
From All-Star game when I tapped him and broke his rib.
And then he was struggling before the All-Star game and his broken rib. But to see that they're all of a sudden really don't believe in you and trying to get Fleury, that is, Dubas in a sense is right. It's like, oh, that just causes such headaches that I didn't need. And it is odd for a GM to kind of bring up a possible trade. Usually you don't hear, like they'll say no comment. They won't discuss things like that until it's done. So I don't know exactly what Davidson said. I never saw.
You know what it is? It's a Big Brother type situation, or whatever other reality show you want to.
So the organization that has 3 cups in the last 12 years considers the Leafs.
I don't even.
I think it's just a word that they were talking got out, and there's no proof that Davidson leaked it. I mean,
really?
Yeah, it was just that Dubas was pissed that the trade talks got leaked, and he's assuming it came from Davidson. But you know, other people hear about these things. You can't pin it down to Davidson, but in Dubas's head, that's where it came from.
I don't give a fuck.
Hey,
I hope they fist fight in the press box.
Right.
And
Dubas had a good deadline. I mean, are we going to that now? Or are you going to another?
No. We got to get to G, not this G, the other G.
Oh,
Claude Giroux, the other big name on the trade market. Everybody thought he was going to Colorado a while back. We had Dave Pagnotta from the fourth period. He says, not so fast. Florida looks like they're in the running. Lo and behold, that's where he ended up after playing exactly 1,000 games for Philadelphia. By the way, the only player to ever play exactly 1,000 games for any team in NHL history. Pretty interesting fact. Wow. After 1,000 games with Philly, the Flyers traded Claude Giroux to Florida Panthers, along with a pair of current AHLs and a 5th rounder in 24 for forward Owen Tippett, a 1st-round pick in 24, and a 3rd-round pick in 23. Philly's also going to retain 50% of Claude's salary. Severelli, our buddy Frankie, said that Giroux, who had a no-move clause, told the Flyers he was only willing to accept the trade to the Panthers. So it was just a matter of getting a deal put together, kind of ties the Flyers' hands a little bit. He was the longest-standing captain in Flyers history.
Wow.
Obviously, Florida was dangerous before they got him. They're more dangerous now. Biz, let's go to you first on this one.
I don't think we ever got a reason as to why Florida was the only team, or did you?
Well, he told them that's the only team he was willing to go to. Now, I don't understand why Philly could have kept that between him and G and not told other teams that, right? Or no?
So the other 2 teams in the East who were making offers were the Rangers and the Bruins. And the only other team out west, I believe, who was offering enough to even come close to what the other teams were offering was Colorado. So Colorado was interested. I find it very bizarre that he wouldn't have entertained Colorado, because if you look at the parity as far as conferences are concerned, Colorado in the West far above who at least they're in line to play right now as far as a wild card compared to where you are in the East with, I mean, who knows? Maybe they can end up playing Boston, and Boston's no pushover if they end up playing them as a wild card. But going back to the trade, I completely understand why Florida, even though it might be overkill as far as offense, because they are loaded offensively, they don't, as far as the core group of players who are pulling the rope, have the playoff experience. You look at Huberdeau, you look at Barkov, you look at Ekblad, who's now injured, you look at Reinhart, even if you look at Bennett. all those guys who are really producing. The only other two players with real playoff experience in that lineup are net front presence, Hornquist, Horny.
And Jumbo.
And Jumbo.
And now Sherratt, but he wasn't there.
Correct. Right. And now Sherratt with Montreal. But as far as the guys up front, like Jumbo Joe can be a calming voice in the room, but he doesn't have that on-ice impact that he once did. He's a fourth liner. So getting him was probably important in that regard, as to he knows exactly what it takes inside those very emotional series. He's been to a cup final. He's competed against the Pittsburgh Penguins in the heydays and really know what playoff performing is about. And even despite the fact that Claude Giroux is aging, he has a great season offensively. He's got great analytic numbers. He is still playing at the top of his game. And I don't think that they had to give up an absolute boatload to get him, especially at the fact that they kind of cornered him and saying, that's the only team I want to go to. So as far as other GMs who did a great job at the deadline, tip your cap to Bill Zito, because at the issues that they had now, especially with the Ekblad injury, the Sherratt move making even more sense and looking even better. Great move for Giroux. Great move for the Florida Panthers. They're still at the top. They still are not in the clear, though, because that is a wagon of a conference.
Yeah, and unfortunately not a little off topic in terms of bringing in Giroux, but the Panthers are completely fucked without Ekblad. And that is a great team up front, can play with any team in the league up front now, especially with Giroux. And he can play center, he can play wing. Say Bennett wants to stay at center, he could play on the wing for him, or play on the wing with Barkov on the top line. But Ekblad, that team I thought needed two defensemen. They got Sherratt, which was a great addition, but they are not the same team without Aaron Ekblad. And you have heard that he's out for the rest of the regular season and will return in the first round. But I mean, that means he's out at least a month. You know, all of a sudden you hop back into a first round that, whether it's with the Bruins, whether it's with the Leafs, it's going to be a good team that they're playing against. And if he's even misses the first 2-3 games of that first round, like, you're in a lot of trouble. So hopefully he's back. But without him, they're screwed. They're screwed because their D wasn't really great to begin with, even though Sherratt will be a difference maker for them.
I don't know if you have the exact tweet, RA. I'm going to put my tinfoil hat on. And keep in mind, this is just...
That he's not injured at all?
Let me put my tinfoil hat on.
It's already on. Oh, sorry, that's our Pink Whitney spring,
that's our new
spring
Pink
golf
Whitney, bucket hat. I believe the day that Ekblad went on long-term IR, if they hadn't put a player on long-term IR, they would have been forced to deal a current player off their roster in order to open up cap space to add Claude Giroux. And if it wouldn't have happened before 5 p.m. of the day that they made the deal for Giroux, that was the case. Now, listen, I am in no way, shape, or form saying that Ekblad is faking this injury. Absolutely not. I would never say that. I feel terrible for him because I agree with you, Whit. If they don't have Ekblad in that lineup, I think they're toast. They could even lose first round after selling the farm in order for this cup run. All right, do you have the tweet?
I actually have it right here. I'll read it if you want. It says, Cap Friendly had this. They said, last night we said that the Panthers, this was on March 20th. They said, last night we said that the Panthers did not have the cap space to fit Giroux under their ceiling without a corresponding move. But they had until 5 p.m. Eastern time today to do it. We have now been told that Florida has placed Aaron Ekblad on LTIR, giving them an additional $7.5 million in relief.
And remember, I have a tinfoil hat on right now, so anything I say with the tinfoil hat is not being taken seriously. If, in fact, Ekblad pulled that off, give him the Norris and give him a fucking Oscar, RA.
He did look like he was in a lot of pain in Anaheim, though. So hopefully he is okay and he'll be back because, like I said, without him, they really don't have a chance. It's like trying to say Tampa would have a chance to win a third in a row without Hedman. They need that guy. He's their number one.
Yeah, obviously, fucking huge loss. We got to mention.
Let me take my tinfoil hat off.
All right.
It is now off of my head.
Business back.
Whatever. Also, we want to go back to Giroux for a sec. He took that final lap as a Flyer after the game. It was his 1,000th game. Real emotional scene from him. And the other cool thing the Flyers did, they had his dad come in to introduce the lineup for his last game. I don't know if you guys caught that. Pretty good shit from from the Flyers. But, it's a new start for Giroux, and we'll see what happens down in Florida.
And I hope at some point we do find out, like, he was so dialed in and wanted Florida. That was the only place he'd go. I was confused. What did you mean, though? Like, why did they say anything? What do you mean?
Wait, why did they?
You said, why did they have to tell everyone that?
No, I'm saying if like the Flyers were the only ones who knew he wasn't going to go anywhere else, they still could have negotiated with other teams.
But why? He wouldn't have gone there.
Just to at least try to maybe drive up the price. Because if Florida didn't know that was his only destination, you know what I'm saying? If Giroux and Philly kept it between each other.
Give us more. All right, I got you.
So then they could say, hey, I'm getting this from them, and they're not lying, even though they don't know they're never going to get him.
Maybe Giroux's agent. Maybe it became more. Yeah, but I know what you're saying.
Yeah. Okay.
Understandable.
All right.
But he definitely had his sights set on being a Panther.
Yeah.
And maybe in terms of Colorado, he's comfortable. He's played in the East his whole career.
You know what it was?
You know what I mean? What, tinfoil hat?
No state taxes.
No state tax.
What's his dough?
It's huge, too. All right, we already mentioned Ben Sherratt. The Panthers, that was pretty much the Ben Sherratt sweepstakes going on. A lot of teams are looking to add the battle-hardened veteran, solid veteran playoff degree. Let's see. Montreal received prospect Ty Smolenic, a first and 23 and a fourth and 22. They'll also retain half of the salary. Smolenic, he's in Quinnipiac, second year down there. But Florida, like we said, toughened up the D. Habs got a nice little return. Habs did as well, too, dumping a lot of these pots off. A couple other pots before we bring on Sam Bennett while we're doing Panthers talk. They also added Robert Hagg from Buffalo for a 6th and 22. And to make some moves for some money reasons, they did have to send Frank Vetrano to the Rangers for a 4th and 22. He'll be UFA after this season. And Jacob Trouba retweeted a picture from. They look like they were about 12
That
years
was
old
awesome.
From the national program, cheating off of each other in school or whatever. So
yeah, they might have been at Pioneer High where I went to school. I think it was at the national program where that picture was from.
Yeah, absolutely was.
So, and Vetrano, a really solid player. That is not at all like they're not thrilled giving him away. They're not giving him away, but having to get rid of him. But with the amount of talent they have in Florida, kind of just with contract situation, couldn't fit in there anymore. But the Rangers are pumped to have him, and you saw him get the empty netter on Sunday night.
Backing things up, if they would have gotten rid of him, would that have opened up the cap space? What was
I don't know how much they needed to. I don't know. That's a good question because Philly retained half of Giroux, correct?
yes.
So yeah, about $4 million. And what does Vetrano make? I think around
253.
So maybe that was what they needed, but it might have been even a little bit more, and that's why that tinfoil busy realized Ekblad faked a disgusting looking.
No, I didn't say that. Tinfoil hat biz did say that.
Yeah, Vetrano found himself a nice little home down in Florida after the Bruins traded him there. So good luck to him in New York.
Bowling ball with the I
don't want to be insensitive biz here saying that. I'm just saying if he pops up like right before playoffs start, you're just like, oh, geez, wow.
Yep.
Interesting.
Little Kucherov. They learned it from across the state.
That's what I'm saying, baby. Tinfoil hat, of course.
Well, Biz, I said we're going to bring on Sam Bennett in a minute. I know we're down here on a working trip, but we might have a few cocktails, so you might have to have a few no days wasted, little something to help us the next day.
Detox. I'm going to need a few here in Atlanta for the dice game. Yeah, guys, it's the vitamin for people that drink. It is a natural supplement that breaks down the toxins of the alcohol before they get to your liver. They also have the hydration replenisher. They don't just have the watermelon flavor now. They have multiple flavors. This is perfect for getting your sodium in as G is walking it over. This electrolyte pack immunity booster provides what you need to help rehydrate and perform your best all day, every day. They also have actual vitamins, the gummy type. So, guys, check them out. You're going to get a Biz20 promo code. As I mentioned, those hydration replenisher packs, they not only have vitamins C, D, B, and zinc, they also have great flavors, and check them out. Biz20 promo code for 20% off. DHM Detox. Yeah,
I like the gummy vitamins. Those are good stuff.
They're the best.
They're not the gummies we usually talk about in the show. They're gummy vitamins. So those are good. DHM Detox. It's a 100% risk-free purchase on your first box. So if you don't love it, they'll refund you. It's a no-brainer. At the very least, give it a shot. And if you don't like it, you get your dough back. It's simple. Also, you need DHM Detox delivered quick. No Days Wasted is now on GoPuff. So that means delivered to your house, a party, or the bar in 30 minutes or less. Just head over to GoPuff and search No Days Wasted. Once again, head over to nodayswasted.co and use the promo code BIZ20 for 20% off. Once again, that's nodayswasted.co for no days wasted after drinking with BIZ20. Not a big deal. And now, enjoy Sam Bennett. All right, it's time to bring on our next guest. This 25-year-old center was taken 4th overall at the 2014 draft by Calgary. After nearly 7 seasons as a Flame, he was traded to Florida, where his game really flourished. He's put up 51 points in 58 games thus far as a Panther and is currently second on the team with 24 goals. It's a pleasure to welcome to the Spittin Chiclets podcast, Sam Bennett. How's it going, brother?
It's going great. Thanks for having me.
Our pleasure, man. You guys are on an absolute tear right now. I think only one team has more points than you, 26-6 at home. The place is packed. I know you didn't see Barkov and Huberdeau a lot being in the West, but did you know these guys were that good?
No, I honestly had no idea. I mean, obviously I heard about, how skilled they were, but to actually see them and every day and play with them, it's pretty impressive. Like some of the stuff that these guys are doing is just, I don't even know how they see some of these plays, and it's every night they're making, plays that not many other players in the league can make.
Now, the first time you were put in a line with Huberdeau, were you kind of like looking behind you like me? You sure about that? Just such a skilled guy.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, as soon as I got traded, Hubie actually texted me. I didn't know him before, and he's like, "We're gonna play together, and I can't wait to play with you." And I was like, all right, well, let's go. So I was fired up right away. And so before I even got there, he said he was playing with me. And it's just been a treat for me ever since.
That had to be a great feeling, because we'll go into Calgary a little bit later, but at times you weren't really given that much of a chance in certain offensive roles. So to get traded to a team and hear from the best player, like, hey, we're going together, you must have been like, oh my God, this is perfect. And I'm a free agent. I'm going to sign a big ticket.
Yeah, I was licking my chops at the opportunity. I was pretty stuck in a hole in Calgary, playing 4th line minutes for most of the time there. And as soon as I found out I was going to be playing with UB, I knew that my role was going to get bigger and I was going to get some opportunity. And I was pumped, to say the least.
Would it be safe to say that your confidence was shot, or was it just a lack of opportunity in Calgary?
I'd say it's a bit of both, for sure. I mean, I still knew I could be the player that I am now when I was there, but I felt like a different player on the ice, for sure. Like I didn't feel like I had all that confidence. I didn't have, if I was going to make a mistake, then if I make a mistake, I'm sitting for the rest of the game. So, and then once you have that feeling, it's tough to play. So, I never got that feeling in Florida, and it's helped me.
Biz doesn't even play hockey anymore and still has that feeling. That's how used to it he was.
No, hey, it's hard, man. Like you understand, if you make a mistake, your ice time is going to be limited the rest of the game. So like even going into it, like it's just like you feel like you're handcuffed, and it's just amazing how you go from that type of situation to the fact that you can go to Florida. Now you got 24 goals on the season, and like it's just been a whirlwind. That wasn't going to happen to me, but for a guy drafted 4th overall, like. How did it get to that point? And maybe were guys in the lineup in Calgary not vouching for you to try to get you on the higher lines, given the fact that you still believed in yourself as far as your skill was concerned?
Yeah, no, I don't think. I mean, I had a great relationship with all the guys there, so I wouldn't say it wasn't the guys vouching for me. It was just I'd been there for 6 years, and they just put me in a spot where that's where they thought that I belonged, and that was it. There was no other discussion after that. So it's just kind of the way it was, and I didn't really see anything changing from there. So I was lucky to get that trade.
Would you ever go into the coach's room? Would you ever try to engage in conversation to try to get more ice time, or were you just trying to be a team player and saying, you know what, this is where they got me pegged. I'm going to try to contribute in this area, and I'm going to shut up and just play.
No, I mean, I fought for myself a lot. But I mean, you know how it is when you're in a situation and the coaches they get to decide what they want to do with you. So, there's only so much you can do. And obviously I take some responsibility too. Like I wasn't the player that I am now when I was in Calgary. I kind of accepted that role eventually, and that's just the way I played. So obviously I take some of that myself as well.
Once a coach like pigeonholes players, or it's really hard. Like you make a good point, because in their mind, it doesn't really matter. Even if you have a couple good games, like that one mistake, like you mentioned, is tough. So I was wondering, had you ever asked for a trade? Had you ever thought about doing that? Because it's not easy. And in Canada, especially, because then it makes the news and people are like, oh, this fucking guy wants out. He's not playing well. Had you even had thought about asking them, or had you done that prior to when you finally were traded?
So, I mean, we had a bunch of discussions, me and my agent, about that. And we never really, actually asked for a trade until, the very end when, I realized that things weren't going to change. And, lucky enough, they were accepting to trade me as well. I think it was just best for both of us. And, I was, I was happy the way everything worked out.
Must have been hard to get some traction too. I mean, I think you had 6 coaches in 6 seasons there. That must be tough to like kind of reboot it so often. Every 6 months, 8 months, 10 months, whatever it was.
Yeah, for sure. It's. I mean, I've been through a bunch of coaches. I think that's. I don't even know why, but there's been a lot of rotation in coaches, and sometimes that's tough to find that. But the funny thing is when Darryle got hired by Calgary, he was the coach that probably liked me the most, and I only got him for maybe 20 games, and I loved playing for him. So I actually didn't think I was going to get traded after Darryle got hired by Calgary.
Was that a whirlwind when he came in? Like, he is just a different breed in the locker room, especially with the pregame speeches. Was he still keeling over and like spitting on the floor just to get the boys fired up?
Oh yeah. He came in a couple times and he waits in the locker room as the boys are going out, like he's one of the boys, and he's like fist pumping, like getting the boys jacked up, great for warm-ups. And the first time he did that, I think me and Johnny and Chucky are like the last guys that were in the room, and he's just like getting us all going. We're like, what's going on? We got warm-ups right now. We're getting jacked up. So he's a passionate guy, that's for sure.
And Johnny likes to keep the beats per minute down a little bit. So that was probably a bit of a change for Johnny.
It's like, lay off me.
Yeah, for sure.
Bob Hartley was one of your other coaches. Was he a pretty tough coach, as tough as his reputation?
Yeah, he was. I had him my first year, so I didn't. I was just, new to the NHL, new to everything going on. But he was hard on me. He would have me in the coach's room almost every day for some video. Had video a lot with him and go over clips. So he was tough on us for sure.
I mean, you never had to play one game in the minors, which is pretty incredible. I mean, it had to be tough too, because I look at when you came into the league, Calgary was a young team. It was like Monahan, Giroux. I mean, there wasn't many veterans to really lean on in terms of like learning the game. And you had a sick rookie year, but it must have been different in terms of like, you never dealt with the minors. All of a sudden you're in the NHL, and there's a lot of guys kind of not 18, but young 20s. It must have been different in terms of like looking at it. Like, I don't really have many older guys to lean on right now.
Yeah, I mean, there was still some.
Yeah, like Weidman
older.
Was there, wasn't he?
Yeah, Weidman was there. Stajan was there. He took me under his wing as a veteran guy, and
nice.
He was great for me. I love Stage. He's just a world class guy. He was really good to me my first year.
So you were there when Weidman ended up hitting the official?
Yes, I was. I was there for that.
What was that all about? Like, did he just the wires cross?
We got to get him on, Biz.
Holy shit. I think he ended up getting ching quite a bit of dough too.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I think he got 20 games for that.
Oh,
and then I think he might have think he appealed it, maybe got it half, so maybe 10 games. But yeah, that was I don't even know if he did it on purpose. It's just one of those plays where the ref's backing into you and you're pissed off, like you just got hit. So I don't really know what happened, but yeah, that was a crazy event for sure.
Doesn't help at the press conference when the ref shows up in a neck brace, a wheelchair. He's got he's basically in a body cast.
Yeah, he was milking that one for sure. Yeah.
I think he ended up suing the league or something.
Oh, did he? Yeah, I don't even know the full story.
I think Bettman had to stroke him a check.
Yeah. Oh, really? Wow.
I don't know. I'm just making it up. We're the rumor boys around here.
Yeah, perfect.
One of the things I was texting a few of your ex-teammates. Johnny said that you're the guy after the bar. First thing when you guys would get home, you would go right for the guitar, and you thought you were a guitar guy, and you would just be. You basically thought you were John Mayer, but the complete opposite.
That's insane that he said that. I might have done that once. And I just started to learn guitar like 2 years ago. So I don't know why he's saying that. I would do that every time.
He said you were a guitar guy. We all got a guy in the group who wants to grab the guitar after the bar. Now, are you single or do you got a girl?
No, I'm not single.
Oh, okay. I was going to say sometimes it's usually the single guys who do it as a chance to maybe get one of the girls at the after parties.
Yeah. You know. I mean, 2 years ago I was single, so that could have been why I was.
That was the year he was playing.
I was pulling out the guitar, but
using a rubber as a pick. Just kidding. We know you don't use rubbers up in Calgary. I don't even think they sell them in that province.
No comment.
I actually partied with this guy at Stampede. I had a blast with you guys, and one of the things you kept ordering and was the Burt Reynolds shot. And you're shaking your head right now, but that was his go-to. He's since, I guess, retired the Burt Reynolds shots.
People in Edmonton did that shit too. It was crazy.
Yeah, I mean, so I guess that's a Calgary or an Alberta thing, I guess. But people there, they love Burt Reynolds. I didn't know about it until my first year. Joe Colburn used to order them by the dozen. He'd order 20 at a time. And I guess that's where I learned it from. I thought that's the thing to do in Calgary. So a couple Stampedes. I would order a few Burt Reynolds for the boys, and
at the fact that Johnny gave me that ammunition of you being guitar guy post bar. What are some things you can maybe go at Johnny about? We already talked about his obsession with Friends, which is absolutely pathetic. But what about his? What are you laughing at, RA?
Because he liked Ross.
That was his favorite character.
That was his favorite character. But let's talk about his fashion. What about? How about when he was riding the horse at the Stampede and he was wearing the Gucci loafers? Like, what's going on with this guy?
Yeah, Gucci loafers. He'd go Yeezys on the horse too. Yeah, I don't know. He's never had good style. That's he's probably the richest guy with the worst style. So I think it's a little bit better now that he's married. I think his wife looks after him, so it's a little bit better now. But his style was never a strong suit, that's for sure.
Were him and Monahan two peas in a pod? Like were they always hanging out? Because they kind of came up at the same time together, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. They're they're really close. They're buddies, that's for sure. So yeah.
Good talk.
Speaking of Burt Reynolds,
good talk.
I don't know what you want me to say.
Trying to tee you up for some fucking
money. They're friends, Biz.
Well, Monty used to have that account, the one that would make fun of him about being boring Sean Monahan.
I don't think that was ever him running that account.
No, I know. I think people were. Is he actually that boring behind the scenes?
He's not boring at all, but he has a very dry sense of humor. He takes a while to figure out, for sure, with his sense of humor. But then once you get used to it, he's one of the funniest guys that I've played with.
Hey, did you get the chance to play with Yuri Hudler there? Because that guy's amazing.
Oh my goodness, the Champagne Don.
How about going out with that guy?
Yeah, I played with him. My first year he was around.
Oh Jesus, we'll leave it at that, I guess. Can't even tell the stories about Hoods.
Yeah, those ones.
Go ahead, all right.
Sam, when you broke with Calgary, you got one regular season game, and then you were right into the fight in the playoffs. You played the whole playoffs. You were 18 years old. Was it nerve-wracking to jump into that right away, or were you eating it up as a young kid? What was that experience like?
Yeah, that was I was definitely nervous for sure. I think it all happened so quickly that I was just going with the flow, just enjoying every minute of the experience. And I didn't even think I was going to play in the playoffs because I'd been hurt for the majority of that year. I went back to junior for maybe a couple of weeks, and then we got eliminated in the playoffs and got flown out to Calgary, played the last regular season game with Calgary. And then they were like, all right, you're going to play game 1 against Vancouver. And I didn't even know what to expect. I was just going with the flow.
I'd like to go back to like the beginning and like, you know, how you became the player you are and growing up in the game. Like, was your father somebody who you really looked up to and you were close to? Did he get you into hockey? What was your kind of backstory in terms of like the beginning of your life as a player?
Yeah, it was definitely my dad who got me into it. He would always build the backyard rink when I was a kid. And that's where I grew up playing on the backyard rink. And that's where I learned to love the game. I remember I used to skip school all the time, and I could walk home. I'd walk home and go out on the backyard rink. And my dad was always okay with it, but my mom maybe not so okay with it. But yeah, those are some good memories back then.
He's like, honey, he's going to play in the NHL. She's like, what the fuck are you talking about? He's 7.
Just like every dad in Ontario that thinks their kid's going to make it to the NHL.
Yeah, throwing garbages on the ice when they missed an offside call.
Yeah,
stabbing refs.
So you ended up playing with Connor McDavid growing up with the York Simcoe Express. Was it still the Express when you guys were there?
Yeah, that's right. I played with them when I was 9 years old, right until 16, I think. So we played together for a long time.
I read online that his father helped you a ton with your stick handling and like all the skill work. Is that true?
So
was he pretty hands-on?
Yeah, his dad was our coach for like 5 years. I think we won 5 years in a row with York Simcoe.
Shocker.
He was our head coach, and he was awesome. He's he taught me so much. He was a really smart guy, obviously. But he was really helpful for my career. That's for sure.
McDavid was playing a year up. Like, could he have even played more than that? Like, was it just a joke for him then? Like, everyone knew.
Oh yeah. He was by far the best player a year up. He could have played 2 years up, I bet.
I wonder why they never did that.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like he didn't need to. Like, yeah, 1 year was good, but he was unbelievable back then, just like he is now.
I mentioned you were taken 4th overall. Did you know Calgary was taking you? Were you expecting to go somewhere else? What was that draft experience like?
Yeah, it was good. I mean, I think before the combine, I think I might have been expected to go a little higher, and then I couldn't do a pull up, so slid down to number 4. But yeah, I did know that Calgary was going to take me right before the draft. Actually, Buc-ee, right after Edmonton picked Draisaitl, Buc-ee looked up to me in the stands at the draft and gave me like a head nod, like, we're taking you.
Come on.
That was pretty cool, yeah.
He like tilted you his glass of scotch. He's like, we got you, buddy. We got you. And how about that? 3 of the first 4 picks now playing with that Florida Panthers team. I'm sure you guys have had a few chuckles in the locker room about that. I think it was Ekblad, Reinhart, and then you. Yeah.
If we got Draisaitl, that'd make it all 4.
Well, you never know if they miss playoffs. They'll be fucking looking. Yeah.
Let's not talk about that team. Jesus Christ.
Why couldn't you do a pull up? Was it because your shoulders was banged up, or was it just because you were just like a skinny rail?
No, I mean, I probably was skinny, but I had a bad shoulder. I had a torn labrum at the time, and I just never did a pull up before the combine. I assumed that I could still do them, and then I got to that pull-up bar and pulled as hard as I could, and I wasn't going anywhere. So I was pretty embarrassed at the time, but I didn't even really think much of it. I was like, oh, this no one will really care about this. And then the next day, it's right in the front page of the Toronto Sun. There's a picture of me like
No.
this, trying to pull off.
Were you supposed to be first overall? Is that why?
Yeah, I was ranked 1 at the time.
No
And
way.
then so I go back to high school because I was still in high school at the time. And then someone like brought in the paper, and I have these kids in high school. I don't even know, some nerds or something, and they were just chirping me that I can't do a pull-up, and I didn't even know what to say. I was just like, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm gonna buy this fucking high school when I light the NHL up, fucking bitch, and I'm gonna expel your ass,
Hey,
motherfucker.
Did you end up talking to your agent? Like, hey, is this going to affect me? And he's like, yeah, kind of. Like, did you realize right away that this was going to like make your draft stock plummet?
I didn't really know. My agent said it wasn't a big deal, and I don't know if it actually did drop my stock or not. There was, because the top 4 was so tight that everyone wasn't really, like, it could have went either way. I think so. I don't know if it really made a difference, but yeah.
I mean, outside of Florida, though, you could have ended up in Buffalo. So I would say overall, it saved you pretty good. You would have never known how to be guitar guy after the bar. You would have never known what Burt Reynolds' shots were. You never would have got the shot.
Oh, yeah. Like people in Buffalo don't do a bunch of shots. He would have been a drunk had he gone to Buffalo.
He'd be out of the league. So when you were drafted to the OHL, what pick were you then? Because you were drafted by Kingston, correct?
Yeah, that's right. I was 9th. I was picked 9th overall.
Okay. And I'm sure like you really enjoyed your time there. Pretty good city to play junior in. They got a college. At that time, I'm not sure if they had their new barn yet, though.
Yeah, they did. It was great. I loved my time at Kingston. I had a blast playing there. Yeah, they had Queens right there. It was a great city. I really had a lot of fun there too.
When you were in Calgary, Jaromir Jagr, he was only there for a pit stop, 22 games. So what's it like having a guy of his magnitude, a legend like that, in the room every day, just to pick his brain a little bit?
Yeah, it was crazy. I mean, growing up, I never thought that I'd get to play with Jaromir Jagr. So yeah, that was a pretty cool experience. He's one of a kind. It was amazing seeing him. So he'd get a key to the locker room, and he'd go into the rink at any time throughout the night and just go work on little things. So it was pretty cool to see how hard he worked and how much he loved the game.
I would have bet anything I owned that Jaromir Jagr was never on the Calgary Flames. I literally forgot that completely. How many teams did that guy end up playing on already?
Was it 8,
10?
8 or 9?
The only reason I know that is
the
only reason I know that is because they used to have the traveling Jagrs. There was about 10 guys who used to dress up in all his different jerseys and just cruise around. And I think they might actually even be from Calgary because I saw them make quite a few pit stops there.
Yeah. We saw them. We saw them in the stands the first time Jagr played, and they came to a lot of games actually.
Would he hang out with you guys, or did he keep to himself for the most part?
No, he would a little bit. Yeah, like he would come to the team parties and everything. So he's just like one of the guys.
Yeah, wasn't a big drinker though at that point. I think he was off the sauce.
Yeah, I don't think he was.
Yeah.
He played for 9 teams, Whit.
Played for 9? Jesus. Yeah. Let's see if we can name them. Penguins, Rangers, Capitals, Bruins, Flames, Panthers. Fuck. I need 2 more.
Philadelphia.
Dallas Stars, Philadelphia Flyers.
There you go. Ding, ding, ding.
Yeah. I would have been stuck on 8 till next season had we not had Bennett on here talking about his time with him in Calgary.
So you got a convertible now, and you cruise over to the beach quite a bit now playing in Florida. That's what I hear. What kind of convertible?
That's right. I got a McLaren.
Oh my God! What?
What were you expecting?
No state tax.
I don't know. Like a fucking.
I thought he was going to say a Mazda Miata.
Yeah, same. The McLaren.
Hey, what is Hubie driving? Huberto has a sick whip, doesn't he, down there?
Oh, he's got my dream car. He's got a 2022 Ferrari F8.
Oh, right. Leading the league in scoring with the French accent, looking like him. He's probably doing all right. Holy
he's
shit.
doing not bad.
So it's a dick measuring contest in the parking lot for you guys.
Yeah, well, so when I first got there, I was like shocked that the garage wasn't that good. And I was like chirping all the guys. Like Hubie last year had a Lamborghini, and he was the only guy with like a sports car. And I was like shocked because I played in Calgary forever, and everyone drove trucks in Calgary because you can't really
free trucks from the dealership. You got your name in the back.
Yeah, in the headrest.
Yeah. So when I got there, and then this year, I was like chirping the boys, like we got to get our garage going. So I ended up getting the McLaren, and then right after that, Barkov got a Ferrari, Huberdeau got a Ferrari, Uyghur got an Aston Martin, and
follow the leader, boys. Bennett's in town,
and then Ekblad got a McLaren as well.
Oh my goodness!
So our garage is it's up there. It's probably one of the best in the league now.
Who's leading the league? Who's leading the team in speeding tickets?
I don't think any of the boys have got one yet. Actually,
you guys are on the Russian program with the state patrol. Just get a little cash out the window.
Yeah, the Florida State, the Highway Patrol looks real friendly when I'm driving by them down here too. They're dicks.
You guys must be having a blast right now. The way that you guys are playing, like this is, if not like the most full octane offense I've ever seen in the NHL. Just night in, night out, like 5-6 goals here, 7 goals. Like it's fucking out of control.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, it's so nice because me and Hubie could have an off night and not get any points, and then Barkov's going to have 3 goals, or Reinhardt's going to have 4. Like we honestly have 3-4 lines that score every night, so it takes a lot of the pressure off. If you're having a bad night, that one of the other lines is going. That's for sure.
On top of that Lundell kid came out of nowhere too, having an incredible rookie season.
Oh, he's a really good player. He's so confident and so gifted with his playmaking ability. He's going to be a really good player in this league for a long time.
You see so many different like lines. I mean, your line's so successful. You, Duclair, and Huberdeau, and some guys will get in it with each other, like they get after each other a little bit. Is Huberdeau somebody who he's getting upset, or is he somebody like, I know he's super competitive, but is he more pretty chill on the ice, on the bench, or between shifts? Like, how's your whole line gel when you're figuring out when things aren't necessarily going well in some games, which isn't quite often, I guess?
Yeah, I mean, it's we haven't really experienced too much of that this year. Hubie will get a little frustrated, but he's pretty composed for the most part. Like he's never yelling at any of the guys. He's always positive. So, I mean, I guess that's what happens when you're top of the league in scoring. So, yeah, it's been pretty positive this year for the majority of our team.
I just mentioned Jagger in Calgary, but you got another legend down there in Florida with you this season, Jumbo Joe. What does he bring to the locker room? He's still like a big kid out there, isn't he?
Oh, he's the best. I love Jumbo. He's just such a positive guy. He's just always got a smile on his face, always joking around. And I always ask him like, why are you still playing after all these years? And he's like, I just love the boys. I love being around the boys. So he's great having him in the locker room, and he's always lighten the mood no matter what. He's
going to be like Aki Berg over in overseas. I think he's in Finland. He's a trainer now. Jumbo Joe's going to get a job as a trainer just to stick arod the boys.
He's going to be sharpening skates, biz.
He's rubbing the guy's quads out before games just so he could fucking chat.
A little flush from Jumbo before the games.
Yeah. Was it hard at first though when you guys weren't getting much attendance, given the fact that you guys were lighting it up? I know like things have drastically changed throughout the course, even of this year, of you guys like getting full barns and stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I think it was only maybe the first 10, 15 games at home. And then all of a sudden it's been sold out or close to sold out every night at home. Like it's crazy, and they get into it. Like the games are fun. It's loud in there. Yeah, it's completely different than all the games I remember when I was in Calgary. I show up on Sunday afternoon and there's 5,000 people there. So it's completely different than that now.
I mean, there were a lot of lean years, which affects the attendance. But also, I have said that building, until you go down there, it's the biggest building in the league. It seats like 23,000. So a lot of times, if you did have the normal size 18K, it would look a lot different. But with the success your team's had, it's been impressive to see the crowd and be into it, as you're saying. But I noticed last year when you played Tampa, that was when it was like, holy shit, we got something brewing here, because that series and that rivalry has turned into something pretty special where you guys are just battling out to win that division this season.
Oh yeah, it's that was a fun playoff series for sure.
Yeah, because you knew you were lighting it up and just making your payday go up and up and up. You're not even McLaren.
Yeah, exactly. But no, we played Tampa a lot preseason, playoffs. We played them a lot in the last calendar year. That's for sure.
I want to bring up, you guys had Joel Quenneville to start the season. Obviously, he was gone pretty abruptly. You bring in Andrew Brunette. He slides in. You guys don't miss a beat. What kind of coach is Bruno? You guys have responded incredible to him.
Yeah, he's been great. He's just, he's a really smart coach, and he obviously gets it. He played a long time in the NHL, and he really understands, like, if we're having a bad game or bad period, he's not going to be all over us. He knows. He's like, I get it. It's tough. He just motivates us, and we've been able to rally under him as well. So I love playing for him.
What's Radko Gudas like? He seems a little bit off the wall. Is that accurate?
Oh, no, Goody's great. He's an awesome guy. He's always joking around too. He's like a big personality, and but an absolute killer on the ice. Like, I used to hate playing against this guy. Yeah. He's probably the best hitter in the league. Like, the hits he throws on guys, they're always clean, and he just kills guys.
Why did Jans say that you were the self-proclaimed mayor of King Street? Is that a fact?
I don't know about self-proclaimed, but I used to enjoy King Street when I was younger, living downtown Toronto in the summers. So I don't know. Some of the guys used to say that. But definitely not self-proclaimed.
Were you a big bottle popper? Were you a big sparkler guy?
Yeah, I liked the champagne the first couple of years. I thought I was a baller. Ordering the Ace of Spades tastes terrible, but you just feel like a baller when you're at the club when you're 20 years old. So I enjoyed that for my times there.
That's why Jay-Z got so rich off these young guys on their entry level, spending the whole amount on the Ace of Spades dog shit champagne.
Yeah, exactly.
Wait, who got rich from that?
Jay-Z created Ace of Spades. He's like,
what?
Yeah. He sold it recently for a big chunk. Jay-Z doesn't fuck around with. Yeah,
that fucking guy. He is king, huh? I didn't know he created Ace of Spades. I thought a vodka company or a liquor company did.
Well, some liquor company just bought off him, and he cashed in thanks to Sam Bennett.
Yeah, exactly.
Him peeling off in his McLaren from
Texan Hoodler pictures. Look at how I did it tonight. No shirt on. Do the guys ever go down to Miami? Any of you guys ever shoot down to Miami, or you're just keeping it chill in Lauderdale?
A couple times, but I think we've only gone down there maybe 2 or 3 times this year. We usually just stick in Fort Lauderdale.
Were you RFA when you signed that deal this summer?
Yeah, I had 1 year left on my deal.
Okay, nice. So that must have been a great
1 year left until I was UFA. Yeah.
So they bought out 3 years of UFA, and then you did the deal with Bill Zito. I've heard he's pretty intense guy. I mean, he's done a great job there. He's really kind of changed the organization. And I was wondering, dealing with him with the contracts, was it more just the agent talking to him, or were you a part of that at all?
So no, I think the most part it was my agent, but right before I went back home for the summer, we had quite a few talks about the contract, and he was pretty open about talking to me about it. Usually my agent would deal with all of that, but we did a little bit together, but my agent ended up doing the most.
Just talking about Gudas, how much of a heavy hitter he is, but you had a monster hit on Cole Sillinger not too long ago. Was that the biggest hit you've ever doled out in your career? I mean, that was violent.
I don't know how you didn't get a 20 gamer.
You didn't want that empty net minus.
Exactly.
It was clean. Even their coach said it was.
No free plays. Yeah. I mean, I wasn't even going to hit him, to be honest. I was just skating back full speed, and then he kind of opened up, and I just reacted from there. But
yeah, like I wasn't even going to rob that bank, but then I drove by it and I figured, oh, fuck, might as well go in there and get some money.
He's like, hey, thanks to Calgary for teaching me how to hit on the fourth line. That's the only reason I was able to. That's why I developed those skills.
Yeah, exactly.
Actually, you got sussied this year. Were you surprised you got 3 games for that? It was on Paquette, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I was a little surprised. I mean, I didn't think it was a vicious hit at all. I mean, I got him a little bit higher, and then I think it was because he spun around. So
yeah,
the league doesn't like when you get those helicopter motions, I guess. And a little surprised by the 3 games, but it is what it is.
What'd that cost you?
I think someone tweeted at me. It was like 172K or something.
Oh my God.
That's what it costs to fill up your tank on the McLaren now with these gas prices too.
Yeah, I almost had to sell the McLaren back after that one.
Hey, the league office gets a drop off.
Yeah.
It's a McLaren as a
He leaves some dip spit bottles in it. He's like, fuck you, Gary.
Yeah, Gary's showing up to the CBA negotiations next time with the McLaren.
Oh shit.
Hey, so one other big surprise too, and a guy who's been laying guys out is this Lomberg guy. I am like, not only do you guys have 3 like high flying offense first lines, but like the fourth line, they can fucking throw the weight around, man.
Oh yeah. Oh, they're great. Lombo's awesome. He's like the ultimate team guy. He'll defend anyone. He'll challenge anyone and defend anyone. And he's a small guy, but he is tough as nails. So yeah, he's great. We need him out there.
I like seeing guys like that and looking like earlier this year, I was like, who is this guy? I'd seen more of him last year, and to see he did time in the East Coast League, a lot of time in the minors. It's pretty cool. He's finally getting his chance to be a part of one of the best teams in the league. So that what you're saying is true by being a team guy. He probably wouldn't be where he was without that aspect of his game.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think that got him a long way. And then obviously he's been playing great for us. So that helps as well. But yeah, he deserves he signed an extension this year, so he deserved that one for sure.
Another guy I want to ask about, and it's hard because you guys don't get much coverage, right? It's like, there isn't much media down there, which I'm sure you probably like after being in Canada, but this Marchment dude, he's got over a point per game. He had like a 6-point game or whatever it was. He's a monster. He's thrown some enormous hits. You probably see the sky's the limit for this guy being as young as he is and making this impact.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's not that young to be honest.
Yeah, I guess you're right. You know what? He seems more young.
Yeah. But,
he's older than you.
Yeah. He's 26.
I'm an NHL analyst.
Yeah, but no, he's been unbelievable this year. It's really good to see. He's that 5-point night was ridiculous, and he's been rolling ever since.
So what the hell changed? If he's 26 years old, I guess in the NHL, like what is different this year? Just how good your team is, you think?
Yeah, I mean he's playing with Reinhart, who's like one of the best playmakers in the league, and he's a great player. Like he's got that skill. He battles hard. So I don't know. It's just a combination of a bunch of things.
Yeah.
But, he's found that success, and he's playing with a lot of confidence right now. That's for sure.
Swaggy's another guy who lightened it up. That's what Yandel gave that nickname.
The whole team is.
Yeah.
We're just going to ask you about every guy.
Seriously, yeah. Run down the lineup.
Yeah, Swaggy's great too. He's been having a hell of a year.
How long were you there for when you knew you were going to re-up there? About 38 seconds?
Oh yeah. As soon as I got there, I was like, I want to play the rest of my career here. So I'm going to do everything I can to.
You a
Is
big
Petrano's? Hey, hold on. All right, is
Sorry,
Petrano's tattoo of Springfield, Massachusetts, the worst tattoo you've ever seen in your life?
The one on his quad or whatever.
Dude, that's the skyline of Springfield, Massachusetts, which is basically the basketball Hall of Fame and some crack shacks.
And one of the best strip clubs in the AHL, if not the best.
Mardi Gras?
He's going to add the MGM casino on his back wet. He's going to go back to the shop.
I actually just asked him about it. I just noticed it for the first time. I was like, what is that on your leg, dude? And he's like, oh, it's the city I grew up in. I was like, oh, that's sweet, man.
Fucking Springfield that Homer Simpson lived in was nicer than that Springfield.
I've never been there. So.
All right, well, we can't ask you about every guy. We've taken up enough of your time.
Ekblad, what's he like? Holy fuck.
Just the dirt on everyone, eh?
Yeah, I couldn't get shit out of Monahan, but you've been stroking these guys off for the guys you've been asking about. But what's the locker room dynamic like? Constant chirping back and forth, pretty calm atmosphere. What's the chemistry like?
It's good. It's actually it's quite a bit of chirping, but we all get along really well. Actually, I think we're a pretty young team for the most part. So the boys love coming in, telling stories, and Duke and Hubie get the stories going pretty good for the boys. So everyone likes to listen to those ones, and it's a lot of fun in the room.
Is Hubie still single?
Yeah.
Oh,
Duke and Hubie are both.
That's
single.
what I said, dude. That's what I said. Driving around that car. The average age of your team's 32, but if Jumbo wasn't on it, it'd be 26.3. So it's actually just like a real young team.
Yeah, exactly.
You a big golfer?
Yeah, not a huge golfer, but I like to get out there. Haven't gone out since training camp, but I love to golf. I'm not very good, but love it.
What else do you do to unwind? You fish or anything, any outdoorsy type shit?
He goes to the beach.
I was actually just fishing right before I came on here off my dock. I didn't get any bites, but I was throwing a couple lines out there.
What's out there? What would you catch normally?
Honestly, I haven't caught anything yet. So
a 23-year-old smoke show from Lauderdale.
Couple empty Ace of Spades bottles from after one of their after parties.
Yeah. No, I haven't caught anything yet, but I'll let you know if I catch something soon.
Yeah, keep us posted.
Sounds good.
All right, buddy. Congrats on all the success this year.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool to see what's happened to your game since you've gotten to Florida, and the team is a blast to watch. I can't wait for the playoffs. And good luck the rest of the year. Thanks for coming on and dealing with our bullshit. And in similar fashion of me thinking Marshman was young, who was the player I thought had played 300 games, but he had 870 G?
Oh, he was from Islanders.
Oh, yeah, Josh Bailey. So that shows how much I know. So
Yeah. We don't know much about the game here. We just like to hear what the guys are up to in their free time.
Perfect.
All right. Thank you so much, Sam.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for the Burt Reynolds shots at Stampede.
No problem.
Huge thanks to Sam for joining us. I know it's the middle of the season. These guys are busy, so I always appreciate it when they make time for us. So once again, big thanks to Sam
The
Bennett.
McLaren.
Oh, he got going once we did the car talk. That fired him up.
Do you think they got
what did he say his dream car was? The Ferrari?
I don't know cars. Ford
Yeah,
Tempo.
me neither. I was like, what's a McLaren? Didn't he play defenseman for the Bruins
Ford
years ago?
Windstar
That's
with the
what I
spoiler.
thought.
Didn't he hit Zednik with a flying
I was like, yeah,
elbow that
McLaren.
would be 50 game suspension?
He got traded to San Jose because Sin didn't want to pay him, right? Oh, no, it's a car. My bad.
No. He got Sillinger. Did you say Zitnik?
No, he's talking about fucking Kyle McLaren. Fucking
way over my tinfoil hat.
Great. All right, well, either way, Biz, that interview is also brought to you by Gametime. Gametime is the new exclusive ticketing partner of Barstool Sports. They're the only ticketing company that Barstool Sports uses to buy tickets. And the best part, they're the last-minute gang, man. I love this stuff. I was always the guy who would jump on a plane, go to a concert last minute. It's created by fans, for fans. Gametime is a new ticketing app that makes it easier than ever to score last-minute deals on tickets to sports, concerts, and shows. Gee, what do you got?
I just actually used the Gametime app and got
The Saboros?
and got Coldplay tickets this summer.
Sorry to hear that.
Where at?
MetLife
Stadium?
Yeah,
Nice,
so I'm excited.
nice.
I heard Coldplay puts on like the best show of all time.
I've seen Coldplay. I saw them at the Sky Dome in Toronto.
Good show.
Oh, yeah. They know
Was
how
that
to
when
rock.
was that the yellow tour and they were hitting the yellow ball around?
They
One of
got,
their tours, they just had,
everybody
like, a
gets
giant
like a
yellow
wrist
ball.
thing and all the colors match up. They don't fuck around, man. They're Coldplay's big time. I know some people say, yeah, you know, they'll chirp you if you like Coldplay, but they got good tracks. RA, what's your opinion
You know
on
how I know you're gay?
No, let's hear RA's opinion on Coldplay.
They're not my cup of tea, but I appreciate and respect what they've done in the musical arena. But I don't like.
Would you
I don't
rather
own any,
go?
I don't own any Coldplay music.
What do you
so.
think about the people who
Well,
say they're like a current day U2? And
No,
I was just
no,
going to ask.
No.
You think U2's
No.
better than Coldplay?
I do too. But I don't. But I really like. I like
mean,
Coldplay. But I don't.
I think U2 stinks.
You could
Really?
think that, but
And they
their
force
track
you to
record,
listen-
their track record
newer
is
songs
what
are
it is.
brutes, but their older songs like
Yeah, I mean-
Joshua Tree and
Where the streets
fucking
have
Rattle and
Fire,
Hum. Like
fucking-
I'm thinking of the album names. They're
Octung
legit.
Baby. I mean,
they were legit.
Coldplay. I got no beef with them. They're not my cup of tea, but they're no fucking U2. But anyways, Gametime offers the lowest prices anywhere. Too biz. They guarantee them. In fact, they cracked the code on how to score deals on last-minute tickets. I wish this thing was around, like I said years ago, because I was the last-minute ticket king. But I can use it now. You ever dreamed of sitting behind the glass? It's possible with the Gametime app. The biggest last-minute price drops can be found on the seats you thought you could never buy, and you're not even getting gypped. That's the best part. The purchase process takes 2 taps and 10 seconds. Once you buy your tickets, they're delivered directly to your phone. No printer needed. The app also allows you to easily share them with your friends via text, so you can all get into the game seamlessly and not deal with some dirtbag scalp out in front of the garden.
Gurnelli.
Skip the hassle and enjoy the game or concert you've been dying to go to. The best part, you get $20 off your first purchase. Download the Gametime app, go to the account tab to create a login, and redeem the code Chiclets for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Gametime. Get it? Check it out.
I got a question for you,
Hit me
RA.
with-
Have you ever found yourself in a situation like Grinelli where you bought fake tickets off a scalper?
Yes, I think I told the story the night. I sympathized with him, even though he fucked with him that night. Same thing. Matter of fact, it was a U2 concert. I shit you not, at the Garden, and I felt like such a fucking rube because, like, you know, I'm a city kid. I'm not supposed to get swindled by some drunk hick got thrown out of the fucking show. And, like, it was 5 minutes after 8. He's like, oh, he won't buy a ticket. I'm like, oh, this kid's not a scalper. He must have got tossed. He still had his stub, and it was already fucking scanned. And I got to the front, and I was like,
How much you pay for it?
like $120. You know?
Oh,
Did you sneak in?
No, I don't. After that, I went home, my tail tucked between my legs. But also, we're on YouTube. Probably the best concert I've ever seen, bang for your buck. This is when I was so broke. It was St. Patty's Day, 92, Boston Garden. St. Patty's Day in Boston is always electric, let alone at the Garden for a U2 concert. And I had 2 tickets. I paid like $120 each, and I was so fucking broke at the time. I had to sell the other ticket for $120. 6th row, dude. This was the Octung Baby tour. When the lady came out belly dancing. It was same. I never
were
seen
you solo?
solo sober. I didn't really fucking. I mean, I might have smoked a hookah on the way in, but nothing crazy, dude. Biz, legitimately, the Boston Garden. I never saw it shake before. I've been to so many up and down. Like I was nervous that it was going to collapse and like crush people. Literally, the balconies were shaking. When they say that, people are usually like exaggerating. The balconies were like shaking like 2-3 feet. I'd never seen anything like it. Most electric concert ever. I don't know if it was the best, acoustically, all that shit. But electricity, pure electricity, boom. Nothing
All right,
like
I'm
it,
back
dude.
on YouTube
All
because
right,
of
baby.
RA's
Boom.
story.
Fucking dunzo.
I'm downloading the whole catalog
I got
because of you.
that was like the opposite of
They already put it on your phone. Apple did like a few years ago.
That was like an anti-grind my gears.
That was
right
the
there.
biggest joke. All of a sudden, like the worst YouTube albums. on
That
your
might be
phone.
why I hate their
It's
guts.
still on my phone too. I never got rid of it.
I don't think you can. It's like a virus.
You gotta get like a special cream. Piz, you might have seen the bag.
I probably got something in my toiletry kit to fight it off.
It's like a CVS in there.
Oh, shit. Boys. All right, back to the lecture at hand, as Snoop would say. The Leafs, they were looking for D. They got some. Not that kind. Defense. Everyone's been saying it. They had to do it. So Mark Giordano, along with Colin Blackwell, our pal Colin, they're coming from Seattle for a 2nd and 22, a 2nd and 23, and a 3rd and 24. Seattle's going to retain half of Gio's money. He's got 23 points in 55 games this year. Blackwell having a nice little year for himself, 17 points in 39 games. Toronto supposedly driving up the price everywhere. Is this another tinfoil biz segment, or what's the deal here? Were they driving up the price on Gio? The other
of course,
teams?
Dubas was. He's a fucking genius.
Can Giordano play goalie?
I'm not talking about the goaltending.
I'm actually.
situation.
I love that trade. I love that trade. Seriously, go ahead. Sorry, it's a great move.
My biggest issue wasn't goaltending. It was
really?
back end in the house, as they say, Whit, where you were kind of a liability. You wouldn't pick up guys' sticks. You wouldn't box guys out in time. You're like, oh, I hope this thing gets turned over so we can go play offense and I can get second assist. Giordano and Muzzin coming back is going to help Jack Campbell. Jack Campbell, he doesn't need to put up the numbers he did in November, early in the season when he was playing lights out. The reason he got nominated to the All-Star game, okay? He needs to be an above-average goaltender, which he's going to be because I ate soggy subs with him on the bus. I saw him battle all the way through the minors, back to the top. Exactly what they thought when they drafted him first round in Dallas. A great, great move, and they didn't have to pay a ton. Kyle Dubas, congratulations. Now, you have a solid back end. You got solid goaltending. One component I'm a little nervous about is the bottom six. Colin Blackwell is going to add a little bit of spunk to that mix. He was great with the Rangers. I haven't watched him a ton this season in Seattle because they stink, but I think he's going to add that speed and that grit that they need. I'm confident in the Leafs. Great job, Dubas. You didn't mortgage the future either. You didn't get rid of any of these high-end prospects. You stuck to the game plan, and you crushed it, buddy. Right below Billy G, second best GM moves of all the deadline. Way to go, buddy.
Yeah, I mean, it sucks for me because I'm a big Giordano fan, and then after getting to talk to and kind of meeting, I'll say, with quotations, Blackwell, big fan of him, too. So I love both guys. Unfortunately, they're on my least favorite team now. But I still think that you gotta throw Dubas some respect, and he went out and he had to get a defenseman. I did think that they would try to do something in net. Now, you knew that they were in discussion for Fleury. That obviously we already discussed. But, yeah, I mean, he did a good job. I'm not going to say he went out and, lit the world on fire. He grabbed a good defenseman. I'm sure that they probably...
He won a Norris 3 years ago. If you want to say good, I don't.
Okay.
Wait.
I was playing in Russia 3 years ago.
But I've lost total respect for your opinion on defensemen when you already gave Kyle McCarr the Norris. When in fact, Yossi has legitimately shoved it so far up your hoop, no spit, no lube, sandpaper finish. Since you made those comments on our podcast, I think he has 13 points in his last 4 games after you handed Kyle McCarr. So your opinion on the back end, Whit? Fuck you.
Hey, listen, I can't deny the fact that Roman Josi has caught absolute fire and had this incredible season. I still think Cale Makar is going to win the Norris. Right now,
it's a coin flip. It's a coin flip.
I may be in the minority, but even if it's a coin flip, I'll take it. I should not have handed it over. When I'm at fault and when I'm wrong, I can admit it. Unlike you, I can admit the fact that I made a mistake.
But was it the argument that who moves the puck up ice better?
No, my argument was that Makar won the Norris. I was like, he's got the Norris already. And then I think I did argue biz about that, and that ended up I was incorrect on that one, considering Josi enters the zone more than most forwards with the puck. But I'll say this. Giordano's still a great ad, but if you're trying to say he's the same defenseman as the year he won the Norris, you're a fucking idiot.
I'm not. I wasn't saying that.
What do you mean? You were just ranting and raving that he won a Norris 3 years ago.
He's one of the
best.
Not
the same player.
He's one of the best conditioned guys. His off ice is impeccable. The way the amount of time he spends in the gym and keeps his body in shape. To even consider taking whatever numbers he had in Seattle and moving him over to the Leafs, you can't. It's like Sherratt. Sherratt had some of the worst analytic numbers of any defenseman in the NHL, and people were laughing the trade off stage.
But Sherratt's not 39 years old. I like the move, dude. I'm saying I like the move. I was originally the one saying, like, this is a good move
I don't
for the
think
Leafs.
age matters.
They had to do
and
it.
If you watch 14 Peaks,
age doesn't matter.
If you watch 14 Peaks on
that's for the
Netflix, Giordano was one of the guys that helped the guy get to the top of the 14 Peaks. He was a Sherpa? He was a Sherpa. From Nepal.
Okay, well, Leafs, yeah, they went out and got a good player on the front and the back end. So I think it definitely makes them a better team than they were.
I think the worst
But goaltending is, for you to say that you're not worried about goaltending is just, it's not true, it's inaccurate, and it's totally dishonest from a coach.
No, I'm not, because I've constantly said on the podcast, I get nervous for teams who peak too early. I'm nervous for Colorado right now. That's who I'm nervous for. They've peaked far too early. I like when you have struggles early on. You need to go through that adversity.
Yeah. I agree with you.
That's why I like Boston. Boston wasn't that good. Everybody was questioning Boston early on. Oh, they're scary to me now.
You want to be a well-oiled machine
Bad
around
Bruins.
March, man. It's a good thing. I agree with you saying. Teams have blown their wad too early, and they didn't have enough of a refractory.
And if there's
period
one guy who knows about blowing his wad early, it's this guy sitting next to you on the couch.
We got no Roman
swipes.
Roman swipes. Use them, boys. That's all I heard.
What else did we have? Who were we just discussing? Giordano?
The Leafs. Let's go back to the Leafs.
No. Okay. Good. Yep.
Oh,
good job by Dubas. Good job by Dubas. Good job.
Before we move on from the Leafs, Biz, later this week we'll have some exciting news about the Score Bet launching in Ontario in April.
The Score.
Biz, we're going to Canada.
Folks, I can't say much. They have me keeping a lot of secrets here, but soon, very soon, I'll be coming to Toronto, and it's going to be involving the Score app. Okay, that's all I can say. Maybe or maybe not it involves gambling. I don't know. Maybe or maybe not we'll be doing a live watch of a game, and we can even maybe go on the over with Elio, Mr. Ice on it. I don't know. I'm not allowed to say too much. But if you follow our social channels, Instagram, Twitter, Patreon, what's the other fucking apps that you can
TikTok.
get? TikTok, all of it. Make sure if you're from Ontario, follow closely. And we can hang out, and we can do some stuff on the Score app.
Score Bet
app. Thanks, G.
Can't wait. I got some Canadian money tucked away from my last trip.
Couple
up there.
loonies and toonies.
I got a few $100. I didn't. Yeah, I usually. I got a bunch of dough and didn't spend anything because I was in a hotel and on set all weekend. So, did I say that?
That's the tricky part. You know, there's a lot of rules involving everything moving forward. So I got to be careful how I speak on it.
The Score Bet.
The Score Bet is all I'm going to say. Pre-register.
Can't wait to get back to Canada. Love it up there. All right, moving right along. Weeksy, he broke that trade, the Giordano one. I think that was from his living room. I think he was on the Staten Island ferry for another one. Yeah. And this one was the best. He was in his barbershop chair. He's got the barber sheet
getting lined up.
Getting all lined up, and he breaks Hampus Lindholm to the bees. This one was getting talked about for quite a few days. Shout out to Weeks. He's been outstanding covering it.
He was the MVP of the trade deadline.
Yeah, he's gotten memed all over the place in a fun way. It's like they're fun memes because he's been breaking shit left and right. So.
I like Danny Heatley, what's his name on Twitter?
All-Star?
Not actually Danny Heatley.
Big Daddy, Big Heat.
He did from the Brazzers room. I mean, that one was. I mean, I don't know how sick of a fuck you are listening, but that was a good one.
Not as sick as him and some of his tweets.
Beating the wheels off yourself while watching Weeksy break trades.
Either way, my Bruins landed one of the most sought-after D-men on the board. Again, Hampus Lindholm and a minor leaguer from Anaheim for defenseman Urho Vakanainen, defenseman John Moore, a first in 22, a second in 23, and a second in 24. Anaheim's also retaining half of Lindholm's salary. Vakanainen's going to be RFA after this year. He's a defenseman. I think he kind of turned the corner a little bit with the Bees. He showed some early promise. He never really stuck, but I think his ceiling probably was no higher than maybe a fourth defenseman there. John Moore, he was a signing that Sweeney gave him a lot of dough. He's been injured a lot. Great guy, great teammate, but they've had him buried in the minors. He's been like the eighth defenseman. He probably wasn't going to see the big roster again, so maybe he'll get a fresh start out there, able to play a little bit more. And then I think they had to sweeten the pot a little with the picks, to fucking be able to get him. What's his name? Lindholm. And then they immediately signed him to an 8-year, $52 million extension biz worth $6.5 million a year. He's got a no trade, no move for the first 5, and then a modified no trade for the last 3. And the Bruins also extended Jake DeBrusk with a 2-year, $8 million deal today. A lot of people are speculating, us included, that it was going to be like a sign and trade, which you don't see too often.
I think
in
you
the
call
NHL.
it a sign and swap.
Yeah, sign and swap, sign and trade. Well, either way, it didn't happen. He's still a Bruin. Maybe he had a change of heart because he's been been fucking, frankly, lighting it up for quite a while now. So let's go to Lindholm first. As a former Ducks defenseman, Whit, let's go to you first.
Oh, what a player he was. And, all right, geez, calm down over there. Good job. That was a nice little transfer, but you creeped me out. Lindholm is one hell of a player. He is, and you know what? That was the number one defensive, player available on the market. It was everyone wanted him, and then it kind of went Sherratt, then it went Giordano, I think. I don't necessarily, not necessarily saying that's the correct order, but I do believe that Lindholm was the one teams wanted most. Now, the issue being, you're not going to give up as much as the Ducks wanted for a rental. So the Bruins were able, and I don't know if they were able to talk to his agent prior to the deal being done, but they knew in a way that they could get him signed. Got him signed for a good number, too, at 6.5. That's a very reasonable price for a defenseman who can play 23, 24 minutes, not overly physical, is good offensively, has a great stick defensively, can play in all situations, and immediately changes up the Bruins lineup. I love that move, and I love the signing. Even if they just signed him in the offseason, that would have been a big deal for Bruins fans and the team. So that's great. I really thought the Bruins would try to add something offensively as well. I think right now having Eric Hall as your number 2 center, I don't know if it'll stay that way. I mean, I know Charlie Coyle's line is, I guess, could be the second line with Craig Smith and
Trent Frederick.
So maybe that's technically your second line, but I thought the Bruins would go out. If they'd gone out and got a forward, I think they were in discussions for Kopp. I think they were in discussions for Raquel. I think seeing Pittsburgh get Raquel and the Rangers getting Kopp really hurt them. If they were able to get a forward, I would have said Don Sweeney won the deadline. But when they didn't add anybody up front, it wasn't as impressive as I thought it could be. But still, Lindholm is a big time defenseman, a true, I think, number 2. If he's playing with McAvoy, and then all of a sudden you got Grzelcyk going with Carlo, and then you can kind of slide down guys depth wise. That's a big time top 4, and the Bruins are winning games. They're probably going to overtake the Leafs for 3rd in that division, and I love the move. So good move for the Ducks to also get in a young D-man who could maybe reach a higher ceiling with Anaheim if he's getting more playing time. It seems like, what's interesting in Boston is they don't love Cassidy. He is not a favorite of guys. They do not enjoy playing.
Players?
Yes, they do not like him. So I was kind of surprised to hear that.
But who's the guy we had on from the Canes who was very...
Oh,
vocal?
it was Bates Battaglia back in the day.
He shit all over.
Yeah,
him.
he did. I forgot about that. But yeah, I guess Cassidy is tough on guys. Giving people a lot of shit and can be really difficult to play for. But with a leadership crew like they have there, it really has not slowed the team down. They're a little hot and cold as this team started, but they are on fire. I don't know what the Bruins' record the last 20 is, but it's got to be up there with any team in the league, I would say.
I don't know off the top of my head, but yeah, they've been one of the hottest teams for the last month anyways.
So from the outside looking in, I really respect the Bruins culture. Since I've joined the podcast, and that has a lot to do with the leadership group, as you mentioned. I don't know anything about Cassidy. I just remembered the Bates Battaglia interview where he was very hard on where he coached him in the minors.
Coached him in Washington, right?
Or Washington.
Yeah.
Why I like this move is, you don't know how long Bergeron's going to keep playing. Of course, with Marchand being towards, the back 9 of his career, you're thinking towards the future. And I've been adamant about this. In no circumstance do you ever trade Swayman because he's the goalie of the future, right? So you got your goaltender.
Dude, you got to, honestly, you got to be a legit journalist for 1 second here. You said fucking trade Swayman, dude. Stop it. If you're going to call out my Makar and my Yossi, you're an idiot. Stop it.
I said, if Tuukka Rask is back to playing the way Tuukka Rask can play, and he's going to be here for a couple more years, maybe, just maybe you consider him or trading him to add a couple pieces at the deadline to make the push now. That wasn't the case. So it completely null and voids my opinion at that point.
Okay.
So now we're back to that's not the case. Swayman's your guy, and he's proved it in the back half of the season. Now you've solidified your 4 defensemen. You got Carlo, you got Grzelcyk, you got McAvoy, and now you got Lindholm for the next 8 years. That's a pretty good that's a great top 4.
Yeah.
So you base your whole team moving forward off your goaltender and your top 4 defensemen. Anybody can play 5 and 6. They can go find those guys, give them $1 million here, $1 million there, no worries.
Buffalo special.
You talk about the forward that they needed to add. Well, now they got DeBrusk kicking in the second half of the season here. He's finally picked up steam in the back half. That was my concern in not maybe adding a forward, but considering he's playing the way he's playing now, I think they're okay, and they didn't really need to make a move for a guy up front. And
interestingly, go ahead. Sorry.
Well, and I do have concern with Hall as your second line center, but given the fact that it seems like they've now moved Pasternak to the second line and also Hall, I mean, I could play the fucking middle and that'd be a successful line. And Coyle and Smith have a ton of chemistry together, so now you have a good 1-2-3 punch. The deal was probably not there to be had. DeBrusk is playing the way he's playing. I think the Bees are in great shape.
And it was made clear right away when the DeBrusk extension was announced, like, he has not rescinded his trade request. So that's why I think when all the insiders came out and said, no, this doesn't mean he's like happy there. He still wants to be gone. Everyone thought about the trade and swap. I always thought it was sign and, what is it? Sign and trade?
Sign and trade.
Biz,
I like the sign and swap.
I like the sign and swap. But
put it on a shirt.
But the way he's played, they couldn't afford to trade him. But it is odd to see even his play improve, and maybe that is him and Cassidy button heads. I don't know, but I was surprised because once it came out from all the people in the know that he still wanted to be traded, I thought that meant he was gone today. So nothing worked out, though.
I think we've often said a lot that the Bruins window is closing. I think this Lindholm trade changes the entire future of the Bruins because, like Biz said, now you have 4 defensemen, young defensemen locked up. You have Hall, you have Pasternak, you have Marchand. You have
when Bergeron's gone,
but you can add. They'll be able to add in the middle. They'll have money. So I just think the Bruins window isn't as close to closing as we've said in the past.
Oh, they're always about sustaining competence and relevancy. That's the way the Bruins. Sometimes you're like, I wish they would have pushed more chips in the middle in order to go to all the way. But they're because of the culture and because of the way the team's set up. They always have a chance to go to the finals. Yeah. How many years in the last 10 years have the Bruins not been relevant? Have they missed playoffs in the last 10 years?
No. I do think they I don't think
they did.
When did they?
Yeah, they did one time.
In the last 10 years?
It's why Claude Giroux Claude Julien got fired.
Really? What
year? Pull it up in the meantime.
Yeah,
from 2012,
maybe once since then, because
but they're never in rebuild mode.
Yeah, no, you're right. They're fixing on the fly. They haven't had a bottom out.
So when you look at the deal they made for Lindholm, it's like, oh my! Now they get a very competent top 4 defenseman locked in at 6.5. Some people were harping on that was maybe a little bit too high, but with the way that the league's going and the fact that the salary cap's going to keep going up and up, in 3-4 years it's going to look like a steal.
In 2016 and 2015, the Bruins missed the playoffs.
They missed the playoffs 2 years in a row.
Yep.
Holy!
How many
shit.
times did they miss it in the last 15 years?
Wow, what the hell happened those 2 years?
Before that, it was 2007, 2008. So since 2004, they've only missed the playoffs 4 times.
Not bad.
Okay. I can't.
I would say Penguins are the only team better as far as making playoffs. And
they haven't missed, right? They haven't missed since Crosby came into the league.
Correct.
Wow. And also, McAvoy, the game against the Wild this past week was...
We haven't gotten to the TNT broadcast.
No, we're still on trade deadline, man. Yeah, we still got fucking...
Oh, are we talking about other stuff besides the trade deadline this week?
Yeah, no, we got that too. Yeah, we got a fat boy coming up for you. We still have a lot of shit to get to. One other move the Bruins made, they acquired defenseman Josh Brown from Ottawa and a conditional 7th for Zach Senyshyn, who was one of the Sweeney 3 from that draft. A 5th and 22. If Senyshyn plays 5 games for Ottawa, it becomes a 6. So... one other move there. And then the Rangers. Our boy Avery. They
got better.
That's not a microphone in his pants. He's a little excited about the deadline. They got much better. Let's see. They went out, added defenseman Justin Braun. They sent the 3rd and 23 back to Philly. Forward Andrew Kopp from Winnipeg, as well as a 6th and 23. Winnipeg got a pair of seconds, as well as prospect Morgan Barron. And they picked up Tyler Mott from Vancouver, sent the 4th and 23 that way.
So Mott's the type of guy I would have liked to see, like the Leafs add a little bit of salt and pepper to the bottom 6, right? He's a fucking nail gun. I don't know how much impact that game against Carolina had in them making more moves because they looked pathetic. I don't think they touched the puck in the 3rd period against Carolina the other night when they got outshot 40-15. But given how the East has been moving and the plays that every team's been making, they had to make or do something. They end up picking up Braun, who's a great, kind of like a Middleton, a very good defensive defenseman. He can move the puck. He's competent. And then Kopp, he was probably one of the most sought-after guys.
Yeah.
Not a very strong cap hit, a Swiss Army knife. You mentioned a guy that all of a sudden he could be playing first line or could be playing third line, and whatever the matchup may be. The only issue with Kopp this season is he has been dealing with injuries. So I don't know what impact that has in coming into New York. But New York has now entered themselves in the conversation with their goaltending and with the other pieces they have as a legitimate contender. So I know.
All right, let me ask you this. The Rangers right now would play the Penguins in the first round. Who are you picking?
I think it's a coin flip. I look at that series.
There's a lot of coin flips in the East.
I look at that series is exactly the way I look at now St. Louis with the moves that they've made against Minnesota. It is just
a war.
It is a straight coin flip. But just as much as I would say that I could see Pittsburgh actually making a run. I picked Wild as my sleeper team in the West. Some people would say, Biz, they're fucking third in win percentage. That's not exactly a sleeper. Well, I would have asked you 2 weeks ago who did you have picked in the West, and you wouldn't have said Minnesota. But they've addressed a lot of issues. Pittsburgh, they seem very confident in their group. Now they've added Raquel. I think that Pittsburgh is a sleeper team, with the goaltending edge obviously now going to New York. I love the ad of Kopp. I love the ad of Braun. And who was the other name you mentioned? Mott?
Yeah, Mott.
Good penalty killer. I remember the year in the bubble, I think he scored a fucking zillion goals shorthanded. That might be the X factor move that they made in order to surpass the Penguins. But how many years in a row now have the Penguins lost out in the first round?
It's been an ugly run for them. It really has been a struggle. So this could be kind of, I said it before when the Raquel trade was announced, it's kind of their last dance. Letang and Malkin, UFAs, you don't know what's going to happen there. I think they both may resign. You just don't know. And now it's like they went out and got a really good forward. That's kind of what they needed. And this is it. This could be the last go-round for that core group who's played what we said earlier in this year, the more games together than anyone in the history of the league. Letang, Malkin, and Crosby. Mm-hmm. Remember a few weeks ago when we talked about that? Mm-hmm. Can they get their fourth? We'll see.
Yeah, we shall see. Washington Capitals, they added, former Washington Capital Marcus Johansson. They picked him up from Seattle. Cost them a little bit more than I expected Johansson to go for. Forward Daniel Sprong, a 4th and 22 and a 6th and 23. Johansson, million and a half he's making. He's unrestricted this year. They also picked up Johan Larsson from Arizona. They sent the 3rd and 23 the other way.
I believe that Larsson move is because they lost Hagelin to the eye injury in practice. I think he's going to be done for the year. Apparently, he said it's very serious. I pissed a lot of Capitals fans off by saying I think they're the only dead weight in the East that's going to make it. The 8 in the East are set. I don't think that Washington is a threat at all. The other 7 teams I could all consider contenders. Every single one. There is no guarantee coming out of the East other than the fact that Washington will not move past the first round. I know their fans are pissed that I've said that. They didn't address any type of goaltending. I think they're a little bit soft. I think that they're back to the days of where they're very one-dimensional. Backstrom is not the same player that he used to be. He's been dealing with his injuries. Washington is not a threat in the East. Am I wrong here? They're going to get a wild card mind the way.
They're not scaring anybody right now, put it that way.
I mean, right now it would be the Panthers playing the Capitals, and the Panthers would be probably minus 185.
Easily,
maybe minus 200. So I'm in agreement there. Now, if they could get if Vanacek catches fire, if they can get some sick goaltending, you never know. But I'm with you, Biz. Them and Toronto are the only two that really can't do anything.
Let's see. Colorado picked up a few more pieces. We talked about Manson late last week.
I think Colorado's AHL team could make a run at this point. That's how many guys they've picked up.
They added Arturi Lehkonen. They picked him up from Montreal. He's going to be an RFA this year. Montreal's retaining 50% of that. Colorado sent the other way prospect Justin Barron, highly touted prospect, in a 2nd and 24. So they paid a little bit of a price there. They also picked up Andrew Cogliano from San Jose.
Cogsy.
a fifth and 24 back to San Jose. And Biz, you mentioned the Tyson Jost trade earlier. They had traded Tyson Jost to Minnesota. In return, they got back Nico Sturm as well. So
Lehkonen, I earlier I said,
that's a
who?
great trade.
I was like, who? He is a puck hound, and he's been the one bright spot in that Montreal lineup all season long. A very, very under the radar type of trade for Colorado. Just adds to the fact that if they had any underlying issues as maybe a weakness, they don't have it now. They are a juggernaut. They are Goliath, and they're going in as probably the biggest favorite to win a Stanley Cup in the last 20 years.
I would say no. I would say they're tied with another team, Tampa Bay in 2018-19, who lost in the first round. That's a little scary, but remember they broke the record, didn't they, for most points, or they were right up there. So I know what you're saying. This Avs team's on absolute wagon, but so was Tampa that first year. I do not think Colorado's losing in the first round, but I'm just reminding you, when you think it's going to be easy, it never really is. And there is a chance the Colorado Avalanche could play the Vegas Golden Knights in the first round. So, having said all of that, I love the moves they made. They went all in. They have to at this point. They got one more year, I think, of McKinnon making this short dough, right? And then the monster deal hit in. But Lehkonen is a guy that you want in the playoffs. And also, just quickly, I wanted to shout out Seattle because what a great job they did in getting about 400 draft picks. They got a bunch of guys. They knew they could trade at the deadline. They've had a tough year, but they're going to be set up if they draft well over the next 2 years. Lehkonen going to Colorado, just what they needed. Puck hound, I love how you described him. That's so true. In your face, annoying to play against, playoff-type player. But then Montreal goes out. That Justin Barron's a first-round pick. He can play. That's a nice deal for Montreal. Montreal did a good job in terms of who knows if Lehkonen's going to be. Is Lehkonen an RFA?
Yes.
Yeah, so, man, they would have had to pay him some dough. But Colorado now, to go out and then even get Cogliano, who can play on that fourth line. He can play up and down the lineup a little bit, but play in the fourth line. He's speedy. He can PK. They have all the pieces you needed. And I'll say this. I was incorrect about giving the Norris to Makar. He's still going to be right there, and he still could win it. But him with Devon Taves, that is the best D pair in the league.
That I can agree with.
That is the best D pair in the league. So you got them two going, and then after that, it's just a team that keeps coming at you in waves. So a great job by Joe Sakic. And the entire weeks leading up to the deadline, we knew Colorado was going to be in the hunt for everyone. And they probably would have got Claude Giroux had he not said, I won't go there.
Seattle with 9 picks in the first 2 rounds coming up in the next 2 drafts.
Buddy,
so, yeah,
if you draft, and then if they can struggle a little next year, I know that sounds crazy, but then all of a sudden you're getting Bedard or you're getting the Russian, what's his name? Mishin.
The 16-year-old from Russia. He's unbelievable.
I think that's a good one, RA, because if they struggle again and get the first overall pick, I know that's a far ways off, but to have that many picks is a big deal.
How about Montreal going from Cup final to rebuild like
that? But we said it. We said it before the year.
Yeah, Ken Hughes. Ken Hughes, that's his guy's name?
Ken Hughes. Yeah, and he said they were going to keep Lehkonen up to about 2 o'clock, I think. And then finally, I think they got an offer where they're getting a first-round pick defenseman. We're gonna trade him.
Yeah.
I don't know how much stock you guys put into Twitter, but apparently a lot of people were saying I put a ton of stock into it.
Literally nobody in the world put this much stock into it as
sorry,
you.
Paul. What's his teasing? Go ahead, Paul.
No, I fucking love it. A lot of GMs saying, "Oh, now the salary cap matters." That was their rebuttal to Ken Hughes because he went from agent now to general manager. When you're playing both sides, guys, sometimes it can come back to bite you in the ass.
Yeah. But you're doing your job either way, right? You're trying to get your guy as much dough as you can.
You're being a scumbag either way.
All right, moving right along here, though. St. Louis Blues, they were pretty quiet up until today. They added defenseman Nick Leddy and Luke Witkowski from Detroit. Leddy's going to be UFA this summer. They sent Oscar Sundqvist the other way, along with Jake Wallman, and a 3rd and 23 to the Red Wings. Stevie Y loading up on some stuff. But St. Louis, we talked to Cam Janssen, and we're going to bring him on in a little bit as well. But I don't know. I don't think they needed to tank it too much. They're not too far removed from that Cup-winning team, Biz. But, Nick Leddy, not a bad addition at all. Veteran defenseman. But, he's got the battle-hardened minutes, can move the puck, do a little bit of everything out there.
So Doug Armstrong is convinced this is a Stanley Cup-winning team. We actually have Cam Janssen coming on next, and he was adamant about the fact that the one missing piece they have was a left-handed defenseman, and they got it. Nick Leddy. So let's see how they're able to roll. It's a coin toss between who's going to start playoff time between Husso and Binnington. If Binnington can kind of find his game or at least get back to where he was when they ended up making that run. It was a solid move. Great move for Detroit. I think that Yzerman is so far ahead of the game in a sense of knowing what teams are going to end up needing close to the deadline, where he has just been stocking up. And the fact that they ended up getting Sundqvist, one of the guys that Janssen ends up mentioning who was very, very vital in that Stanley Cup winning performance, as one of the guys who was just running around killing guys for San Jose to get out of that series when they ended up going on to win the Cup. So Credit to both squads here. And Doug Armstrong, he's playing with the house's money. If they're able to make another run with this core group with the St. Louis Blues, it's just a credit to him. But as far as Detroit's concerned, they are just cocked and loaded for another 20 years of playoff runs.
Yeah, Biz, you mentioned Cam Janssen, so I suppose we should send it over to him and get his take on the Blues. It's good stuff. So do want to let you know that the interview is brought to you by Shopify. Shopify gives entrepreneurs the resources once reserved for big businesses. So upstarts, startups, and established businesses alike can sell everywhere, synchronize online and in-person sales, and effortlessly stay informed. Scaling your business is a journey of endless possibility. Reach customers online and across social networks with an ever-growing suite of channel integrations and apps, including Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Pinterest, and more. Synchronize your online and in-person sales. Gain insights as you grow with detailed reporting of conversion rates, profit margins, and beyond. More than a store, Shopify grows with you. This is possibility powered by Shopify. Go to shopify.com/chiclets, all lowercase, for a free 14-day trial and get full access to Shopify's entire suite of features. Grow your business with Shopify today. Go to shopify.com/chiclets right now. Once more, that's shopify.com/chiclets. And now, enjoy Cam Janssen. All right, this is our next guest, third appearance on the show, making him a member of the Three Timers Club. The former New Jersey Devil and St. Louis Blue can be heard on Hot Take Central on 590 The Fan in St. Louis and on the terrific Cam and Strick podcast with our pal Andy Strickland as well. Welcome back to the Spittin Chiclets podcast. Cam Janssen, what is up, my friend?
What's up, boys? What's going on? You guys are lounging.
Oh, yeah. Well, compared to you, if you're listening on this and you can't see it on YouTube, he's got 5 candles going. He's got the red wine. He's got the white hoodie. You look phenomenal, buddy. What's going on?
This. My wife set this up for me. We needed to make it look cute. I know. I'm a fucking nerd. It is what it is.
We're actually doing a Spittin Chiclets book club today, guys. It's a special episode.
It's an erotic episode with the candles and wine going.
Hey, how's that back doing, Biz? You all right there, buddy?
Yeah. For those of you seeing this on YouTube, I'm not being a hardo all lounged out. L5S1 washing my toes, and that's probably it's just a chain reaction. You know, you got the bad ankles and then the bad knees, and then it just works its way up. And I threw that out, so I'll be on the IR for probably about a month here.
What are you still like UFC fighting and stuff, dude? You look pretty shredded.
No. Dude, I don't do anything, man, to be honest with you. I have to get up at 4:00 in the morning to do a 7 a.m. radio show. So I'm just, all I do all day, honestly, is look shit up online and try to like gain knowledge on everything that goes on, because you kind of have to talk about it. And, some shit I'm like kind of uncomfortable talking about. So I barely work out. Kate and I chill out here. We golf here and there. The weather's been shit. But no, I don't. I'm a pussy, to be honest with you.
Wait, so all right, so it's the show's Monday through Friday, 7 a.m., or is it 3 days a week? What's the schedule?
No, it's every damn day, 7 to 10.
Oh my god, you're up at 4. What are you taking an hour and a half to get dressed?
No, I live 40 minutes outside, dude. So I got to get up. I got to get my groove on. I host it, so I got to know my shit, and like I got to look up whatever. So yeah, you have a producer that will give you notes, but I don't know, man. Like I kind of want to produce my own shit. So I have to get up and get the paper, chill out, get organized. Yeah. I'm usually hungover, so I got to get that shit going. I got to rehydrate.
Are you in Eureka? Are you in Eureka still?
No, I'm in the wealthy part of Franklin County, Missouri.
Oh, not a big deal.
Yeah, well, it's a subdivision. Kate and I moved out here a year ago on a golf course. So we're kind of fancy lads now, but I was blue collar for a long time.
Okay, I remember.
Not anymore.
It kind of looks like the Gaza of Missouri.
It is actually.
You got your own golf cart. I see you like posting on Instagram about the deer in your backyard and shit.
Yeah, there's coyotes too. And they kind of like want to kill my animals that I have, and I don't like it that much. And I'll put those fucking things down if push comes to shove. And my wife, Kate, you got to give me, I'm sweating my ass off. By the way, those guys, if
maybe
they come up,
a few candles.
I'll kill all of them. I'll kill them with my bare fucking hands.
Fireplace.
You're sweating my ass. You got to give me. Oh, yeah,
we'll take the garbage bag off for fuck's sake.
A hoodie, a campfire, red wine.
Andy made me wear this, by the way. Andy's like, you got to support the podcast. I'm like, fuck, I don't have any cool shit. So I had to put this thing on. It's 80 degrees in here.
You're riding the bike in the sauna doing the Chiclets episode with us.
Hairline looks great, though.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. Don't lie to me. Listen, maybe the front part's okay, but the back part, if I looked over, there's a big cul-de-sac. That's why I'm out on
A little Hava Nagila going on up there.
The Blues want nothing to do with me because of my cul-de-sac. It is what it is.
The bald yarmulke.
No monkey bum up front, though. The front looks great, buddy.
I
Believe
got
me,
that
I'm
bad
singing
boy
it
done.
too. It's hard. Biz gives me shit, too. He's a dickhead about it.
What do you got? Take your head off. Can I look at you? Can I evaluate? No, you're good.
I got a big forehead. It's okay, though. But
You're
Biz
right.
is the bully. Don't listen to him. He brought up yours right away.
Yeah, I got a small
Isn't that
one.
funny? The people with good hair, the thick hair club, they'll chirp. They know how to pounce and belittle you. We're all in a club together. Let the bullies be bullies. It's all good.
Exactly. Well, Janet, we have so much to catch up with you on. We want to talk about the Blues, who've been on a little bit of a skid. You're watching this team regularly, and Doug Armstrong's made it pretty clear he thinks this team can win another cup this season. But what's been going on these past 10 games, where I think Biz just told me they've lost 7 of their last 9, struggling a little bit here?
Yeah, no, I think that was, look, their forward group, they're fantastic. Like, they got the 3 lines. They could score in different ways all throughout the game. David Prawn's on a heater right now, by the way. Great guy. Awesome guy. A little mature when he was young. He was my roommate for a while.
Playing on the team.
Do you see his kid the other day? How cool is that?
What was he out together on the ice with
He's
him?
playing like the Pundits game between periods, just dominating people. He must be
everybody.
shoving needles in his ass or something.
Sticking his ass out like, reverse hitting kids and scoring. And Perry's out there watching. It was just really cool. But anyway, he's playing great. I'll tell you this. They have a glaring hole on the back end, and I think everybody kind of realizes that. What can Army do in the next however long now? I don't know. Florida's eating up all the scraps. You got trades going on left and right, but I think the Blues are confident that they can make them. They could do something in the playoffs because they got a lot of guys on the team that they've won. Like Ryan O'Reilly has won. You got a lot of the core group have won, and that says a lot, by the way. But I know they're looking for certainly a big defenseman on that D-core that could fill that top 4 role. That's a lefty. That might be tough. That might hit guys, and it's like hard to find. Those kind of guys are kind of out of the picture right now. So I don't know what they're going to do, but they're loaded up front, and if they could figure out that back end a little bit, they could do some damage in the playoffs, unless they face Colorado, of course.
So if I could just rewind a little bit, do you think it was a big mistake in letting Petro go now that you're seeing these glaring holes? No,
I don't think so. I think that was
Geez, sorry for asking.
Well, I'll tell you. I'm just telling you, because that was kind of a sensitive subject for a while. And we all love Petro, and he's great. But I do think that they offered him a lot of money. Like, I don't think he wanted to be here anymore. I think that he wanted to try new things and go somewhere else, and that's completely fine. And they kind of filled the gap with Torrey Krug, who's a great guy, by the way. And he's not Petro, and we all understand that. But no, that was a tough one. And look, Petro could have made the decision to stay here, and he'd have his statue in front and all that stuff. But look, it is what it is. We all like Petro. He was a young kid when I came in. I remember when Petro walked in the locker room, me and Danny Highnote and Jay McKee were sitting right there, like, hanging out. And he walks in like, "Hi, everyone. I'm Petro." And we're like, "Whoa, what? Here's a first-round pick." And he goes out there and he has the puck the whole damn time. And you're like, this kid's going to be pretty good. And, of course, he's doing this thing in Vegas right now. But, look, they had to do what they had to do with him. The Blues are still in a pretty good spot. They're missing a top 4 left defenseman, tough to get. But they could do some damage in the playoffs. When we repeat that, by the way, that was long-winded. When we repeat that,
no, I love it.
No, you're crushing it, buddy. Danny. We're just chilling here. You got 15 candles. You don't have to repeat anything.
We know the memory card's not very big anymore, buddy. doing all that studying beforehand.
Yeah, when you're studying at 4 a.m. every day, God knows what your brain's like Sunday night at 6 o'clock with us.
I know it's Sunday night at 6 o'clock. Like, give me a break. Hey, she's got a fan going on me right now too. I'm pathetic. What's wrong with me?
I'm leaking too. Don't worry.
It's like you start your hockey career. You had like a terabyte, and like you got all the gigs beat the fucking out of you. You know, like all those punches you took. You got like a 1 gig memory card now.
I know it's you got to do what you can with it. You know. Shit.
Hey, so you mentioned Perron, who actually, I don't know when this interview is going to air, but right now he's got a 6-game goal streak going. He scored a hat trick Saturday night I was watching, and you just kind of mentioned he was a little immature when he was younger, right? And he's just kind of maybe a little cocky, and he's grown up a lot. Is that kind of what you've seen being around him for this long?
I always love for why they put Perry and I as roommates when I was like 23, 24 when I got traded to the Blues. He was 19 and he was cocky. He'd walk in and Keith Tkachuk would give him so much shit. And all the other guys would be like, okay, Perry, tone it down. He'd be the guy in practice. And we love him now. And he runs the show here. And everybody, he's the coolest guy in the world. But when he was 19 years old, in practice, he'd have the puck the whole time, right? And some of the drills, when you know, you're like, okay, enough's enough. We've been playing it. We're on the road. And he'd have the puck the whole time and kind of make you look like a fool. And the older guys would give him shit. And he would just he kind of went from he played AAA, I think, and then went to juniors, and all of a sudden went from there to there. Now he's 18, 19 years old. He's a first rounder, and he's playing in the NHL. He didn't know how to handle it at the beginning. And as the years go on, of course, he certainly matures. He kind of bounced around a little bit. But at the beginning, it's funny, like Keith Tkachuk wanted to hurt him a couple times in practice. He embarrassed me one time, by the way. I think I was sitting games out. Rick Wamsley was the assistant coach who would, bag you, right? And Wammer was a smart ass, and he knows it too. So he put Perry against me one-on-one in front of the net. And I'd sit out 4 games in a row. I'm like, oh, God. And he would toe drag me and do this and 10 and 2 it around me and go top shelf and smicker. And I remember Wammer being like, no wonder you're sitting out, Cam. And I'm like, I wouldn't have killed both of them at the time. But that's what Perry would do. He made you better. He figured it out, and now he's an absolute superstar.
Hey, Perry was like he was like the dog owner pretending to throw the ball, and you were the dog just turned around sprinting after nothing.
He fucking owned me, and it was a very he's really good at it, like in a phone booth. Like he can.
Yeah, his hands are
strong.
sick.
He's strong, man.
And for those of you who are listening, Perry is Perron in St. Louis. I'm sure there's a few people confused because they think we're talking about Corey Perry. I just want to set that straight. R.A., what's up, buddy?
Cam, I want to ask you, Ville Husso, he's been absolutely terrific for the Blues this year. Does he get the game 1 start, assuming they get to the playoffs?
Well, right now he would. Absolutely. And look, Benner, great guy, by the way. Real cool. Great with the fans, all that stuff. And I always got to throw that out there because he truly, truly is. And he's going through a tough time right now. But, man, he figured it out. He knows it's hard to look at a Benner, which he's been kind of digressing throughout the years. You can look at the COVID situation. As a goalie, it's kind of fucked up to try to, be on your game. You got to get that. But he's kind of digressed. And you had this Ville Husso who was ahead of him in the depth charts whenever Benner took over. Husso was hurt. They had put Benner in during that 2019 run, and he figured it out. But if you have a goalie, and I don't care if he's put years together of dominating, he won you a Stanley Cup in the weirdest circumstances possible. I remember the first game in Winnipeg. So, Benner's been in the minors the whole year. He goes on this hell of a run in 2019. He gets to Winnipeg. Somebody digged up tweets about him. Remember that?
Yeah.
So his most hardcore situation ever in his life with hockey, he wakes up that game day and he looks at his phone and everybody's bashing him. He's like, what the fuck? So he had to go meet with Berube, had to meet with Doug Armstrong during game day and still figured it out, still found a way to collectively get his thoughts together and go on another hardcore Stanley Cup run. There's little things that he did mentally that you look like, I still believe in you. Like Husso's getting the job done now. But if push comes to shove and you need to put Benner in there, he can go in that psycho mode that he's been already. And I just put faith in him. I think a lot of people do too. But again, he's got to prove himself in some of these games because he's letting a lot of goals in.
I think if it was playoffs tomorrow, like you said, and Husso gets a start and they lose game one, it might be like a Grubauer situation when Holtby ended up taking over in Washington, where he seemed to be the starter. Now, going back to earlier in the season, I think that Binnington had a good start to the year. Do you think that the what's the term I should use?
Oh yeah, let me tell you what it would be.
Like the charade with I forget what team it was first, but then it was with Colorado and Kadri, where he was like trying to fight guys. He was like swinging his stick. Do you think like maybe that became a bit of a distraction?
Oh yeah.
Like, you think that the team ended up talking to him and maybe slowed a bit of his mojo?
Yeah, man, I remember that. Remember he kind of went kind of weird a couple times where he swing your stick at guys. And look,
I love that shit, but
I like it.
That's always who he's been, kind of.
Yeah. Dude, he fought in juniors. Did he fight in juniors, or maybe it was in minors? So he'd go meet somebody at center ice and go, like, he's got that fuck you in him, which we all love. But on the other hand, if you're going to swing your stick at a guy, like, you would think like they want you to stop pucks. Like, get in there and stop pucks. You could chirp. He chirped Corey Perry one time, which was kind of cool. But if you're going to swing your paddle at a dude, you know, he's pretty skinny. Like, he's probably going to get his ass kicked if somebody really grabs a hold of him. Like, if somebody's going to swing a paddle at you, like, that's a green light to beat up a goalie. Like, okay, you're going to do that. So I'm sure, I'm not going to speak for them, but the hierarchy of the organization is probably like, hey, you know, chill on that. We love it, but chill on it. Just go in there and do your thing. You want to chirp a little bit. Don't invite trouble, because you might catch a guy that might catch you with one. And then where are you at? You know, like, Rick DiPietro. Remember that one time?
Oh, Brent Johnson.
Oh,
yeah.
Jesus.
Well, what's tough too is, you know, he's in the first year of a 6-year deal for $36 million. Husso's UFA, so it's like kind of like almost a tricky situation, because they got to figure out what they're going to do, and maybe it's also that first year, the big deal, the pressure a little bit, because things change when you start making the huge dough. I know he was making good money in the 2-year deal he had, but this is a different contract to try to live up to, so maybe that's kind of been a part of it as well.
Yeah, you know, when you make that money, like the season's a grind. You're like, oh God, it's just like, you know, over and over. And it is what it is. You're still playing in the NHL. Like, I don't want guys chirping, but it just, like, when you're a star, man, like, sometimes you just like, you're like, okay, what that, like, come on, playoffs, we're in a good spot. Like, let's get through these dog days. Let's get to the playoffs where it's meaningful. So it kind of your mind plays tricks on you. But again, he's not doing well. Husso's okay. Been great. The past couple of games, the whole team's kind of been funky with like their D zone and shit, turning pucks over, this, that, and the other. So they're getting exposed. But right now, if you want to put the tandem, Husso and Benner, and you're in a good spot going into the playoffs, like, you get your mind right, it's a different animal.
Yeah, at least you have two, like Biz said.
No shit.
Vladimir Tarasenko, he requested a trade several months back. He's been having an outstanding year, 54 points in 55 games. I can't imagine they're going to trade him at this point. Can they, Cam, or what?
I mean, no. That was a weird thing. It was blowing up because Vladdy didn't play it well. Yeah, he didn't play it well, right? Like, he was in a weird spot with no leverage. He didn't play for 2-3 years. He's a superstar leading up to that. He's got a good contract, Stanley Cup winner. Then you don't do much for a couple years because you're getting your same injury over and over again. You had no leverage for the first time in your career, right? Like, and I think his agent kind of was, you know how they are, dude. Is like those agents, sometimes they put you in a jam, and I think it just was a little too loud, blaming people, this, that, and the other. And everybody's like, he's never going to be able to go in that locker room and show his face. I'm like, settle down. You walk in there, you think Ryan O'Reilly and David Perron are like, well, I can't deal with this. Oh, let's ignore them. No, they're like, this is fucking business. Come in here, do your damn thing. We're all buddies. You've been here longer than all of us. So come in here and do your shit. Your agent was a little too loud. No one gives a fuck anymore. Just go play.
Was it him or his agent who was vocal about the fact that he thought he maybe should have got the C? And is that even true?
That was Vladdy.
That was in a Russian paper, I thought.
That was right. Maybe he's like, fuck, maybe I did think I was going to get the C. I don't give a shit about that. Like, but people thought that he wasn't going to be able to go back in that locker room. Like, no one gives a shit. Come in here and fucking do your shit. Yeah, right. It's a business. No one gives a fuck. Let's go. No, he's sniping. Like, that's all you care about. Just don't bitch. Don't be loud. Don't be a distraction, and go do your fucking work.
Like, why does it even like get leaked? Whether it's the agent or the team, it torpedoes everybody. You know, like
no,
it doesn't.
It was Vladdy who came out and said it in the media. I think it was Russian. I thought it was in a Russian.
He probably didn't think it was going to get back to North America.
He's like, the internet's not working in Russia this week, so I'll do the interview now.
I know. No, he just probably thought, he's like, well, they asked him, he's probably like, yeah, maybe I did think I was going to be captain. Oh, Vladdy thought he was going to be captain. No, whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah.
Blow up that way.
Yeah.
So we were out in Vegas for the All-Star game. We got to run into Giroux one night, I think at the Aria. It was actually the night before the skills competition.
Oh, yeah.
And he talked about how bad he wanted to win, maybe fastest skater, take the boys out. But he ended up getting that done. He's had this ridiculous season. And watching him play night in and night out, you must be pretty impressed in terms of what the future holds for him.
Dude, he's flashy, man. Like, he comes in, he can cut across. Like, he go 100 miles, like Whit, as a D-man. Like, you know those kids, they'll come 100 miles an hour directly at you, and you're like, okay, which way you going? And he's going to fake one way, and his sidestep, like, he just can get around you because he could take one stride, and now you're like, your hips are opening up. And you're
My
like,
ankle
oh, boy,
snaps in half.
Your ankle snaps, you pull your fucking grind. And, like, that's what he's doing. Now, you know, he needs to get back. Like, D zone, he can clean up a little bit if you want me to nitpick, but the dude's a superstar.
Yeah.
He's fast as shit. Like, was he faster than McDavid, though?
Hey, he legit the night
what
before.
What are we doing with that?
The night before, we were like, hey, are you going to go grab a couple pops? He goes, no, I'm not drinking tonight. I'm going to win fastest skater tomorrow. I'm going to take the 35K bonus that I'm going to win for it, and I'm going to treat the boys at Hakkasan. And he did exactly that.
No shit.
Legit. Did he not say that?
Yeah. He called the shot.
Yeah. He had all of his buddies there, his entourage.
Would you have bet that he was going to beat McDavid in that?
No.
But I mean, I haven't seen how fast he was. Did McDavid even do it?
Did McDavid try on that? Like
I don't know. I mean, I watch Giroux though. Like, there are times watching the games, I'm like, holy shit! Like,
his first three steps.
Yeah, exactly.
He's gone.
First 3 steps. That's what it is. See you later. Whether he's carrying the puck or back checking, it's a sight to be seen.
Yeah, he's good.
Oh, I was going to go back to the back end. So you said holes. Like, I thought that they addressed that when they didn't sign Petro. It seems like they were able to add Falk, Krug, and then Parayko ended up getting paid. So between the three of them, like, is there maybe a weakness? I know Parayko struggled, especially during the COVID situation when he'd originally got his deal. Who would you say is maybe the weak link of the three right now?
Well, none of them. They're all three good. Look at their numbers. Like, even Kruger and Falk together, like, they're like plus 40, you know? Like, how do you – but I just think you need more. You just need more.
Yeah,
you need more. Like, okay, so you got those two. So who's the lefty with Parayko?
Well, I thought that they had that big kid who
Perunovich. Is he hurt?
Yes, Perunovich got hurt.
Oh, that's
weird circumstance too. Like, he's just like, he didn't fucking play, and then COVID happened, and then something happened, and all of a sudden he didn't play, and all of a sudden his wrist he needs wrist surgery. Like, what?
Is that what? Yeah, because so he started the year in the minors.
Tugging it off.
He was
we've all been there.
Yeah, exactly. COVID just made him hammer his horn to injury. Hey, so he started the year in the minors. He was ripping it over a point per game. Then he's playing real well for the Blues, and then that was the original thing that he got the COVID, had to miss, and never really came back from.
Yes, and then he was practicing. I guess he got banged up, and that's kind of happened a couple times. But Nico Mikkola, who is their big 6'6", he's actually pretty damn good, but he's not a top 4, man. Like, I don't know. Like, he could be a 5, but he's not the 4. And if you're going to be a shit kicker going into these playoffs against Colorado and these bad boy teams, like, you need another guy to complement Parayko. Where do you find him? I don't know. Like, they're getting today
Giordano went to the Leafs, and that's a guy that I'm sure Doug Armstrong was making some calls about in terms of shoring up that top 4 with a lefty. That's a good point.
They might want, like, this Jake Neighbors kid who's really good. He's going to be like the future captain. And he kind of was in that. He played 9 games, the 10 games span where you got to evaluate, which is always like when you're an 18-year-old kid and you're playing like 7, 8, 9. Like, I remember Stephane Monteau. I played with him in Jersey, and he was going through that process too, which I think kind of hindered him a little bit when his progression. But as an 18-year-old, and you're just like kind of trying out, and they're giving you a shot, like, it's pretty good. The kid lived up to it, and they're like, we don't need you now. So, like, do you get rid of him for one of these kids or for one of these defensemen this year? I don't know. Doug Armstrong, but you just never know with him, man. He's always up to something.
Well, right, because I mean, I think it was his comments. He thought that they had a Stanley Cup winning team. Now, that's obvious from everybody else's point of view if you end up adding another defenseman because you're happy with the forward group. So right now when we're interviewing, we're about 20 hours from the trade deadline. Yep. Yeah. Is there any other defenseman name that's coming up of guys who have not gone? Because you talked about Giordano, you talked about Sherratt, who was a big name. Lindholm's gone, who was
Chychrun, who's hurt. So who's hurt. So, but you know what? Like, I like that Hampus Lindholm too. Like, he hits too, man. Boston, they're not messing around either.
Oh,
yeah. But I would say, hey, you know what? This isn't maybe like he's not a, I get fucking Chara. What's he doing? Is he hurt? Is he all right?
No, yeah.
What are you doing?
Played for the Islanders.
Yeah, he's playing right now. People have brought his name up. I think it's one of those like totally up to him, where he may be like, hey, I'm good. But
I know,
that's not a bad call because he can still give you 17 minutes. He's a beast.
You want to win? You want to try to win? Like, what do you?
9th rounder.
Exactly. Give him that 10th rounder. But for penalty kill, like whatever. Like I don't know. Just if he's in your lineup, like if I look at that Blues team, if you have a Chara back there, like he's just going to amplify everybody's confidence. I don't know, man. You know those kind of dudes, man, in the locker room. They're just like they're just there. You're like, fuck, I feel bigger on the ice. I feel more confident on the ice because this freak is backing me. I don't know.
That's usually what people said about you.
Yeah,
this freak's barking at people
until I couldn't get the puck out of the goddamn zone. They got pissed because they're -2.
Until Perron had you in a pretzel in front of the net in practice.
Toe dragging me. Rick Wamsley almost fought him in practice. He knows.
We've pretty much covered the goaltending in the back end, unless there's anything else you want to touch on as far as defense are concerned, but you've already thrown them under the bus. Ryan O'Reilly, maybe not producing offensively to the level he was, but they do have other guys who have stepped up offensively. Is there anything maybe missing from his game right now? Is he maybe losing a step?
I love him, by the way.
I love him too.
Just great human being. Parties,
everyone,
fun.
Danny.
No, but no, I don't actually. No, I don't. Seriously, but he's just a good dude, man. Like he's perfect. He's not playing great, man. I didn't notice him. I haven't noticed him.
Wow.
Like look at his stats. Like he's like no shots on goal, no this, no that. Like I haven't noticed him at all. I've noticed that Toropchenko kid, who's 6'3", Russian kid, 220. He goes 100 miles an hour in the zone and hits guys, and actually he's skilled, and he'll like reverse hit you and hold on the puck and throw it to the. You're like, oh, this kid's like doing things. I notice you. Ryan O'Reilly, I haven't noticed in a while. Dude, but look, when you're playing that many minutes and you're even like taking face-offs all the goddamn time, it just wears you out. You're just worn out. And this is the grind. You know he's going to pick back up when shit comes down. He's just a warrior. But I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt. But I'm not going to lie to you. I didn't fucking notice him past couple games.
Barbashev too, a breakout season, and some guy, I think he's got 19 goals right now. He's over 40 points, and somebody who you notice because he's kind of a tank as well. And I think that a lot of people maybe didn't know about him, or at least that this was the level he could play at going into this season, right?
Dude, he crushes guys.
Yeah, he's huge.
Like open ice hits. Like he's a dude. He goes 100 miles an hour. He's got a little scoring touch. You could place. You could spot him wherever the fuck you want to. He'll block shots on a PK. He's a motor. He's like him and Oscar Sundqvist were a huge part of 2019 championship game or team that just hurt like Erik Karlsson and shit. Those two fucking guys hurt so many guys from San Jose that year. In like game 4 and game 5, they smashed them. They're hitting them every single shift. Big part of winning. I like Barbie, man. And, Barbie's going through some shit too, by the way. Really? All the Russian guys are kind of.
Yeah. Yeah,
they are. They're taking a lot of shit. Well, and everyone's like, "Oh, they have nothing to do with anything."
I don't know if this ended up coming out, but I guess all of them from the league, all the Russian players were on a text thread, and they wanted to come out with a statement, but I guess they couldn't agree on what the statement was going to be.
It's sketchy
because, and like obviously Ovi taking a lot of the heat. Probably doesn't help that he's got his Instagram folder.
Well, what do you do with that though? Like I'm looking at that,
but if you take it away or.
Well, what do you do though? Where's his family's over there? So it's like, get your fucking family so you can get them over here, secure everything if you can, and then maybe. But like, we just don't know what fingers are on something over there. You think Ovi's powerful? He is in a way, but he's not compared to the big boys over there. Like he's still it's like a puppet still. Like I'm telling you, it's the weirdest thing. So Ovi, like it looks bad. I don't know. It's so weird. It's so complex. But I think that like you don't think he wants to do that. You don't think he wants to take that thing down. I think he does. I just think that he's in a weird jam. I could be wrong on that. The whole thing is bizarre. But I do feel sorry for some of the guys. Like I have nothing to do. What am I? I'm Russian. I have nothing to do. I don't want to even be over in Russia. I want to live in the United States or Canada, Anyway.
You said it.
Yeah, I definitely don't envy any of those guys.
No shit.
Yeah, I can't. What would be the biggest hurdle to the Blues winning another Stanley Cup this year?
Like the biggest hurdle? Well, Benner, you got to get your goddamn mind right, homeboy. Like I love you, buddy. You've done it, but like you got to figure it out here. Like we're watching. Like let's go, figure it out. So the goalie competition, like Benner needs to take control of the reins on that and have some more competition for Husso. And you need I don't know. They might, if they could figure out their defense and tighten it up. Well, Nico Mikkola has to be a top 4 guy.
Yeah,
he's got to figure that out.
So a little bit change of subjects, but it's been incredible to see the success you and Strick have had with the show. And interestingly enough, I get to catch up on some episodes, and I had to ask you how that's going, how you enjoy it. And then my favorite moment this year has been when you had Bobby Clark on. All of a sudden, he's just shredding Ron Hextall. Like, give me your reaction as he's kind of going at him. And throughout the whole year, it's been pretty cool, I'm guessing, with all these interviews you guys have gotten.
Yeah. Do you know the game, man? It's great. It's a good living. It's nice. And here's a big thing. It's nice not to have a boss. Yeah. Like Andy tells me to do something, I fucking do it. That guy works his ass off. He's a go-getting motherfucker. I chirp him left and right. I'll smack him around here and there. Don't get me wrong, but he's a go-getting motherfucker. And he gets sponsors and he does this and he gets all these guys and he knows who to get next to it could be something. And so I got to give him credit on that. Now, he does annoy me here and there. It's fine. But like, yeah, Bobby, you're like, okay, let's get him on. He just asked him like, well, what do you think of so-and-so? And he's like, well, why'd we draft Nolan Patrick? I don't know. We talked to, and he just, look, he's in Florida hanging out with no hockey people, golfing all day. He doesn't give a shit.
Yeah.
And he's probably some of these guys, and you guys know this, they're like, here's a reputation I have with some big things that happened. I'm going to set the story straight now and just let everybody know this is what the fuck happened. So don't blame me on it. Like, I kind of don't blame him for that, but it's good, man. It's nice not having a boss, though. Right?
Yeah, you're not exactly a guy who thrives with a boss, I'm guessing.
Well, I did with Lou Lamoriello. Like, I needed that at the time, but
had you guys already got Hextall on, or did you guys try? Okay, so you'd already interviewed him before Bobby Clark.
Yeah.
Did you try to reach back out to Hextall to get him back on?
I mean, that's Andy's job. I'm nice to everybody. Hi, I'm just going to be nice. It's Andy's job to do it. No, we didn't. But like, God, dude, Bobby, like, again, he doesn't care. He's sitting in Florida. And the hockey world around him's kind of gone a little bit, Those are the guys you need to find. Who
is another guy, like an older guy, who surprised you with how much he opened up and maybe told some stories and opened the vault on some stuff that from the past that people really didn't know the full story to?
Well, look, anybody that's been through hardcore opioid fucking, hardcore shit, though, where they can reach out to people. And man, I keep my shit open, like the DMs open. It's hard to get back to everybody, but I feel like I want to be like a therapist kind of thing, because I've been through hell with that. And we don't need to get back in that. It's all good. But like anybody that's been through that kind of shit, alcohol, painkillers, yak, coke, whatever. Anybody that's kind of like, this is what I had to do. There's so many of our listeners, you guys know, that been through shit. Yep. And they just get connected. Like, wow, I went through that exact same thing, sweat my ass off, or whatever it is. Like, I like connecting with people that have been through that, because the fans, man, They understand it, whether they had it or somebody they know, their cousin, their somebody, whatever. So that all connects. And I love like trying to like tell people it's all good, man. Like I'm telling you, this is what I did. This is what this guy did that we interviewed. Look at this guy. You thought he was the most perfect, but no. He went through hell too. We're all in this together kind of thing. So I like whenever I reach out to guys like that. You can't do it all the time because sometimes it's depressing, and I get that. We want to entertain people. But once in a while, man, you get a hardcore guys on that been through shit.
Yeah, we had Brant Myers on. That was a pretty intense one. He ended up coming out with a book called Painkiller afterward.
Yeah, awesome.
And he wrote it and stuff. Yeah, he's an buddy. He helped me out tons when because he was hired by the LA Kings, right? And so he would come down to the minors to talk to the guys and say, if you're going through stuff, this is not something that's going to get back to management. I'm just more of a guidance and a guy who's been through hell and back.
Like McGrattan's doing.
Yeah.
Hey, Brian McGrattan with Calgary. Why wouldn't they every team have an old school guy that just knows, that's been through? It's hard to find, and maybe guys aren't good at the guys that went through it. Maybe aren't really good at like talking about it. Like it's just another skill set in itself that you have to like describe what you went through so people can understand it. So it might be difficult, but every team should have somebody.
I will say, Janny, though, like I thought that when I was playing, even when we were younger, we were pretty decent communicators. I would say that this next generation, I don't know if it's because they're spending so much time on their phones, they don't really communicate that well. I don't know if they're afraid to maybe go reach out for help or have those conversations, or maybe there's a fear that they will in fact go to management with some of the secrets and something they want to open up to. But I completely agree, and I do think that more teams are adding that type of role moving forward.
Yeah, it is tough, man. Like if you're like if you're even in my position, like I was going through, I gotta suck it up. I'm not a superstar. One little thing could put you to the minors. From the minors to the pro, it's such a big difference. So it does scare people. And if you are going through it, like I'm telling you, every team, they rather you talk about it and bring it up like, hey, I need help. And if they drafted you or they spent money on, they're inviting you places and they want you to succeed in the future, like they're going to want to help you with that. Like, so it's like you have to not be scared to get help. But they also, teams, like, look, you need a dude that you could talk to that's trustworthy. And all you guys, you play for the teams where you know who you could talk to and who in the organization you can't, who might think that you should talk to, but he's kind of not, he's going to rat you out or whatever. There needs to be that one dude where I don't give a shit who you are. You could sit down and he'll give you the legit answer and he won't go to whoever. And I don't know how that works. I don't know how you're going to do that, but that would be essential just to keep people open-minded and to talk about the problems, man.
I think that's what Brant had said, is that there was almost a little bit of like, hey, we want to know what they're saying. And he's like, well, no, that's not the deal. And that's great to know Brian McGrattan's doing that in Calgary. I didn't know that was the case, but I'm with you. Every team has something like that. It makes a lot of sense because that's tough for people to go through that shit alone. Nobody should have to do that. Yeah.
I mean, you're making money. I mean, look, it is what it is. It's always going to be in your face. There's a lot of shit that you can get easily, man. Like, and I know they put their foot down on the painkiller stuff, which is good. There's other ways to kill the pain and all that stuff. So they're ahead of the game when it comes to that because they got smacked in the face with it a couple times, and sometimes that's what it takes to move forward. So
I know it's tough to transition out of this conversation, but is there anything else in the league that you've been paying attention to as far as teams, maybe players, like things you've been keeping your eye on?
Well, the Florida fucking Panthers, baby. Good. Listen, Florida, you've been so quiet. Look, when we play down in Florida, you guys know, you go to Tampa, it's fun. You stay in that little hotel right there. You walk to the rink. Yep. Beautiful women everywhere. You're kind of cruising around. You go to that little like nice steakhouse right down there. Like it's a cool atmosphere. The fans are kind of crazy. Then you go to Florida and you're like, oh, hi, I'm in, where am I? And I know they built
the mall.
And they built shit up right there. But you go in there, it's like, oh, I'm in Florida. People are just hanging out. Like, I want them to be relevant. I want them to have a badass team. I want them to be loud. And now they're going all in. Good for you. Be loud. You kind of went through a weird time with, of course, Quinville and all that shit. Of course, very bizarre, all that shit. So you kind of you just never been there. I want them to be successful. I like when teams go all in. I like when they fucking show balls and fuck this. Fuck them draft picks. Let's go. Let's go. And now I kind of want them to win. That I appreciate that. I like how they're loud. That organization needs to be loud, and they need to get psycho fans in there, because you guys know when you walk in there, it's like everybody's just like, what are we doing? Everybody's tan. They went golf all day. You need psychos. Tampa Bay has psychos. Carolina's got nutbags cruising around there. Florida just has that easy, I'm old and get going a little bit. And that's what I'm thinking of.
That's a good segue, because we actually got Sam Bennett coming on today's podcast a little later. So that's kind of awesome. What's up, RA?
Nothing. Going back to the pod stuff, Cam, has there been something unexpected, an unexpected aspect of doing the podcast? Maybe you didn't anticipate, like something maybe on a positive level? Like
No, I'll give you a negative level.
Okay.
Well, we had fucking Mark Howe on the other day, who was a great guy, talking about Gordy, getting like in depth with shit. And the goddamn thing didn't go through. My poor, our poor engineer, Brody, it didn't go through. And we're like, what? So we sent it to some company. We're like, we got to get Mark. He was like pumping shit up too. Like, he's like, oh, are you going to put that out?
No, you didn't get it?
So the whole thing was a waste? Oh, for Christ.
Has that happened? We called
That's how Grinelli has a job.
That's how Grinelli has a job, because it happened to me and Whit when I was the producer.
They wanted us to pay well, we could maybe fix it, but you're going to have to, we're like, what? Like, we can't do that. Like, okay, so that kind of shit. But other than that, man, look, you got to do enough. And then if somebody's not great, there hasn't really been a guy that was like so bad to where the fan base would be like, what is this? Like, and even if that is the case, it'd be funny to talk about anyway. So, but everything's good, man. It truly is. We're trying to think are you guys going to want to get, you guys could get on even non-hockey guys, right? Like, you ever think of Cross, getting a badass, I don't know, some Stone Cold Steve Austin,
but my internet didn't work, and we got him for 6 minutes. But that was a cool Dustin Johnson, the golfer. But
what happened with that?
Yeah, basically it just got cut off a little short. I was late, and then he had to go. But we've talked about that a little bit in terms of, but it's hard because you almost don't want somebody who has nothing to do with hockey. Like, if it's somebody who doesn't play hockey but they're a fan, it's awesome. But if you get, because the high majority of our listeners and your listeners, they're hockey fans. So if you get some guy who's got nothing to do with hockey whatsoever, it's a little bit, I think maybe for some people probably
if he's
not.
Universal, we're any hockey fan. I'm thinking
we had Tom Green on. He was awesome.
Oh,
he's
great.
Cool though. He's a comedian.
Great.
Comedians are great though. He's a Canadian too.
Maybe we should actually ask that to our fans right now. Who are some non-hockey people who you'd like to hear from? So thank you for bringing that conversation up, Cam.
It's been a while. No, it's seriously, but you can get a guy that's but you can't have a guy he might be a big name, but he's just dull. Yeah. You need to have I'm telling you, some of these wrestlers, I'm not a big wrestling guy, but I'll get fucking Stone Cold on. He's got a cool ass podcast. I don't even give a shit about wrestling, but I like listening to him break shit down. He's a good old Texas boy. I don't know. He's very interesting. He shoots guns. He does his shit. Not that I'm a big gun guy, but he's just interesting. I'd get his ass on. And I think even hockey guys could relate to that.
Stone Cold talking about bacon.
Dude. He kills boars down in Texas. You got all these big ass boars down there that tear up all the fucking ground, and they reproduce bunnies, and they do fucking tear up everything, people's crops and shit. So they take these helicopters down there, get a bunch of badass fucking rifles. Yeah, bow and arrows, back in the hunter-gatherer days. Well, they get these and you get on these helicopters, you go and you kill all these boars, and you set up dynamite, and you attract them in there, just
blow them up.
Yes, look it up on YouTube. It's
Grand Theft Auto.
I was just
edition.
I was just in Florida.
I'm an animal lover too.
The iguana, you can kill the iguanas in Florida. You're allowed to just kill them. There's too many.
Really?
Yeah. So I guess.
What about the gators down there?
I don't know. I went on one of those airboat gator rides. Those things are they're monsters. Some of them. Dude, monsters.
They're it's prehistoric.
Yeah, they're dinosaurs. Yeah.
Dogs don't live long down there, because if you're your dog's you're walking your dog and you see the 8-foot gator just hanging out crossing the street, It's the weirdest shit in Florida, man. And you got anacondas down there
in
too.
the pond. Yeah, in the pythons too. All the people released the pythons. They fucked up all the ecosystem down there.
Hillbilly Amazon. The hillbilly Amazon down in Florida.
1 million years moved to Florida. I don't think.
Tax-free
Yeah,
biz.
yeah, you would.
All
Yeah,
right,
you
never
would,
mind.
Biz. Yeah, you would.
I'm in.
I'm on Zillow. I'm on Zillow right now.
Yeah, you would, dude. Florida's nice. It's cheap. You could find a badass place.
Do you ever want to move out of St. Louis? I mean, I know you got the daily radio show, but if it just became you doing the podcast where you could do from anywhere, would you move?
If I made a ton of money, I'd have a fucking place, man. We loved living out east. Don't get me wrong, because we know people out there, but I'd have a badass place in the mountains, dude.
I just got a place in Jackson Hole, Wyoming.
Who did?
Biz did. You got about
Are you
11
kidding?
acres, sick view.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, buddy, I'm telling you what.
That's what I'm talking about right there.
Move
baby.
there. We'll hunt the boar together, buddy.
Jackson Hole right there. I like the Grand Tetons too. The reason why I like the Grand Tetons because there's no rolling hills. It just goes and a boom, they just stick straight up. Beautiful out there, dude. That's what I'm saying. I'd have if I made a ton of money, I'd always have my place here. I'd have a cool place in the fucking mountains, ski in, ski out, have all your buddies come. You fucking chill, you ski in, do your shit. Cause now we could ski. Who gives a fuck? You get hurt. Like, whatever. But then I'd have a place either on a nice ass lake or on the ocean, man. But I don't know the ocean well. If I wanted to have a boat on the ocean, it's shady. I know lakes, ocean's shady, dude. You can get
Ocean scares the shit out of me. And by the way, you're talking about we can go skiing now. I get hurt like asleep in bed. Biz gets hurt cleaning his toes. Yeah. We couldn't handle skiing. And if you two moved together, there'd be Saturday nights. You guys would be wrestling at 3 a.m. by yourself.
Hell yeah. Dude, how cool
what
is
were those
that,
things Johnny Gaudreau did with the
iguana wrestling?
Iguana wrestling.
We're back to the iguanas. Jesus Christ.
They're killing the iguanas in Florida, though. That's kind of weird.
Yeah,
it is weird.
Why would you kill them? They're harmless.
So there's just way too many of them. So you're now allowed to like kill them, I guess. This is what I was being told. I don't know. I think they're just so overpopular.
Can you eat them?
Some cultures do eat them. Yeah, personally never
they
had
actually
an iguana.
They actually creep me out in terms of like walking around the house just to know like one of those could get in your house. They were fucking disgusting, but I mean, I'm not down to kill any of them.
No, what's funny is
you can cut their tail off.
When it gets too cold down there, they just fall out of the trees. When it gets too cold in Florida, they don't freeze to death, but their body just slows down. They just like legit fall out of the trees.
No, I think they freeze though, and then they just die.
No, like they're still alive. They'll like warm up. Like some of them probably die, but they'll get so cold because they're cold blooded. They'll just they get stiff and literally fall out of the trees. They don't die. They just like get cold and fall out of the trees.
People say though, even these crazy ass Aussie dudes from Australia that are like fighting these fucking gigantic kangaroos that are stalking little towns, killing like dogs and shit and all.
Kangaroos kill dogs?
Yes. There's look at this up. Look it up. There's a kangaroo.
Internet for today, kids.
No, fuck that. That's like I go down these.
And then they put them in their pouch.
He saw this on The Onion.
Yeah. No, this is actually shit. These crazy kangaroos, but people from Australia who you think would, like they're the ballsiest guys going. Like that's the wildlife and the, way out in the middle of Australia, like it's
called the
crazy,
outback.
The outback, crazy shit.
Booming onion.
But they say that going up where you just bought a house is the craziest shit because of the big boy bears smelling you, stalking your ass. When you act like you're a fucking cowboy out there and you got that big boy stalking you, I hope you know what you're doing out there, Biz.
That's why I bought a bunch of mace.
Keith,
so
that'll slow him down.
So would you say your number one activity now that you're retired is golf?
I'd say it's probably golf.
Do you skate?
Well, I was going to say,
sorry.
well, I was getting to like, of course, if you do golf a little bit, I think that you would be an electric factory and a sandbagger.
No, I'll do that with you guys, man. 100%.
Who would you pick as your guest?
Let me think on that.
Okay.
Let me think. Can I just say Andy? Can I just say Andy so he doesn't get pissed at me? Because I ain't picking him.
Golf?
Hell no. I don't. No. I love you, Andy. You're great. Good business partner. He ain't coming with me on this one. He can come hang out, and that's fine. But I need a guy that you know how it goes, man. I'm not hanging. If you're worse than me at golf, I'm not teaming up with you, right? You want to get the other guy. Let me pick a couple cats. I got a couple guys in mind that are really, really good that would come for sure.
Okay. All right, we'll let you think about that one.
I know.
You guys got anything else random you want to ask Cam?
I thought you were going to bring up the video cam of when the guy in Australia, there was a kangaroo going after his dog, and he goes up and he fucking swings at the kangaroo like
I know that one.
punches him. I thought you were going to bring that up.
There's this little town in Australia that this kangaroo was stalking. Like people walking their dog, he'd go to tear up the dog in front of people. It's actually horrifying. We're going to make a movie out of it.
Well, they actually have a big kangaroo steroid problem over there. I don't know if you've seen all these.
How jacked are those things?
They look like they did a 20-year bid, some of those kangaroos.
Yeah, they got tattoos on them.
They did for stalking dogs. They do. They got the anklet on.
All right, we get that out here in the middle of Missouri, boy. You go to the Walmart, you'll see a couple of anklets cruising around. No doubt about it.
Do you follow the tabloids? Do you follow it like the Kardashians or anything ridiculous like that? Okay.
No.
I mean, do
you
think that this guy follows the Kardashians?
No, I didn't.
Bro?
I didn't know he was fucking following kangaroos doing push-up pyramids.
I like random
dogs
ass shit.
in Australia.
I like random ass shit. Like it's interesting.
Give me something else random that you've been following lately.
Well, I mean,
other than scented candles.
Well, other than like the Ukraine shit. Like it's like, oh God. I mean, that's a God. You guys have put me on a spot on that. Well, these fucking coyotes, Kate, you know what I'm talking about. These little coyotes that are hanging out in my backyard.
You ever hunt them?
Well, you can't kind of do that.
Oh, really?
Well, you can't just hunt coyotes and shoot them. Like you can't just shoot your gun. Although we are in the middle of Missouri, like you probably could do a lot of things. But these coyotes will stand in my backyard and they'll stare in my house and they'll stare at my little precious kitty cat, who I love dearly. And then my two little puppy dogs that are behaving themselves actually extremely well behind me right now. They're in my room. I can't believe they're not barking. And I can just see them. They're all the beady fucking red eyes. And I'm like, I'll kill all you motherfuckers. Like, I don't know. I feel vulnerable.
Do you ever put a leash on your cat and take it for a walk like Jack Campbell?
I saw that.
Maple Leafs?
Listen, I've had a cat since I first started playing NHL, and I was like one of the first kind of guys on the team that had a kitty cat that was trying to thought it was cool. Everybody's like, "Oh, you got a cat!" Like this little kitty would. Anytime you're in the worst mood ever, like I'd be so down and out, like, oh fuck, on like withdrawing off painkillers, like okay, and that precious little kitty would come curl on you, and it would always put me in a good mood. And that might sound corny, but I don't give a fuck. It helps you. So just so y'all know that.
Okay.
You just got to clean your litter.
So Leafs confirm cup contenders and favorites right now. Ready to go, Jack? Oh, would you ever put yours on a leash, though? Would you ever put yours on a leash?
No. Mine's indoor cats. I
think they all are.
They all should be.
That's something in Missouri that might get your ass kicked, having your cat on a leash, taking it for a walk.
They ain't happening.
Especially in Eureka.
When's the last time you saw Tony Twist?
Twister, I texted him the other day. Big fuck. He's out there and he's way out in the woods out here, man. You walk into Twister's like a garage. It's motorcycle parts. He's welding things. He's got no shirt on out there. He's like, he like weld things, like make statues of shit. And like he's just always going. He's got his circle of guys he trusts and he likes, man. He doesn't like the fucking media. He doesn't crave attention like we all do. He just does his shit and he's got his core group of people, and I love him for that, man. You got to respect that.
Oh yeah, I loved him when we ended up interviewing him. I think he brought his dog and a dildo in.
I was right after him.
He never wants the dildo. I forgot about that.
That he welded it. I used it on my old lady.
Oh, he just does his thing, man. He was so popular in this town. And I think he just wanted to get away from it. And he's got his core group of people that he hangs out with. And I just respect the fuck out of that. Like, I'm an attention whore. Like, you kind of have to be now. Like, it's like, and he just does his shit. And I just respect the shit out of that, man.
It's the media, buddy.
All right, before we let you go, cup pick. Who do you got?
I got Pittsburgh Penguins.
Wow.
Go fuck yourself.
Wow.
They can't make a move. You think they're good enough as they are?
I'm just throwing this out to be crazy. I don't know. I've had this feeling.
Don't hate it.
Just let me say it. You guys can chirp me all the fuck you want. I don't give a fuck. You want me to break down different things? I could have said Florida. I could have said Tampa. I could have said whatever. I'm going to say the Pittsburgh Penguins. And if I'm wrong, it doesn't matter. But if I'm right,
you're a genius.
If I'm right, there you go.
Bucking writes, Cam, thank you so much. I don't know how much weight you lost sweating your balls off with all those lit candles.
Did I embarrass myself? Did I look all right?
What are you talking about? You're one of our more entertaining guests.
You're awesome at this. You're a natural. You're a natural. All right. Yeah, you can keep pumping Strix tires while also kind of shoving him in a locker a little bit here and there when he needs it. So
he's a go-getting motherfucker, but I will smack his ass around.
Tell him to sell a couple more ads so you get your own place in Jackson.
Hey, I'm telling you on that, dude. You should do it. I love that. I want to be a mountain man.
Yeah,
I want to be a mountain
arm wrestle biz for his place.
I'm a poser mountain man, but I'm going to try eventually.
You got to figure out, dude. You got to bring it. You just got to know what you're doing up there, homeboy. I'm telling you.
Hey, no state tax.
Cam and Biz broke back mountain up in the Teton.
Oh, let's do it, boys.
I want the small spoon.
Wish I knew how to.
I want the small spoon.
See you, buddy.
Love you guys. Be cool, man.
See you, Cam. Huge thanks to Cam for jumping on us once again. Absolute great guy. I had a blast with him out in St. Louis a couple years ago. Make sure to check out his podcast, too. Cam and Strick, great shit. They get great guests, do some awesome things there as well. I do want to let you know that interview is also brought to you by BetterHelp. Relationships take work. A lot of us will drop anything to go help someone we care about. We'll go out of our way to treat other people well, but how often do we give ourselves the same treatment? This month, BetterHelp Online Therapy wants to remind you to take care of your most important relationship, the one you have with yourself. Whether it's hitting the gym, making time for your haircut, or even trying therapy, you are your greatest asset, so invest the time and effort into yourself like you do for other people. Sometimes life really gets hard and you just need somebody who will listen to you without prejudice. BetterHelp is online therapy that offers video, phone, and even live chat sessions with your therapist, so you don't have to see anyone on camera if you don't want to. It's much more affordable than in-person therapy, and you can be matched with a therapist in under 48 hours. Give it a try and see why over 2 million people have used BetterHelp Online Therapy. This podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp, and our listeners get 10% off their first month at BetterHelp.com/Chiclets. That's BetterHelp.com/Chiclets. All right, moving right along with. I know there's something you want to add.
Just quickly. It was on my phone as we took a tiny little break there, and we had mentioned before about Fleury being added to the Wild, and Talbot believing and thinking he's a number one, and how would it go? And Billy Guerin had a quote in the case of adding Marc-Andre Fleury and it working with Talbot. There's no room for petty bullshit. We're a team together, and we're trying to win together. And Cam's an unbelievable teammate, and I know he's going to be an awesome teammate with Marc-Andre Fleury. So that's the GM speaking, and it's a lot easier for him to say it than Talbot to kind of maybe give over the reins to another goalie. But I still think with what Biz mentioned and Fleury being good at this and being a great teammate as well as Talbot, you're going to see these two guys get along. So I just saw that.
I'm curious to know if like the conversation happened with Talbot before he made the move.
I would say no.
It's amazing how smart Billy G is. Sometimes you can use the media to get the message through to your team where if he hasn't had the conversation, it's like, yo, buddy, like, no offense, but if you wanted to be the guy, you could have showed me in the last month, 2 months of the season.
I wouldn't have done this.
And I wouldn't have done this. You kind of put me in this spot. But if you're saying that you're the guy and all of a sudden you got the net tonight against Vegas and you want to fucking show me for this next down the stretch, I know Fleury's a guy who can be the backup and be supportive and be a guy just in case you were to go down or maybe things were not to go as well as you'd maybe planned.
Healthy competition.
All
GMs and coaching staffs want are enough players to form competition from within. That is what makes great teams. When guys that are part of the roster are gunning for other guys' jobs. And that may sound kind of crazy, but that's what it is. Are you too comfortable being the number 2 defenseman? You think your job's set? Well, no, the number 3 D man's gunning to get more ice time. And that's what makes great teams. So I think you'll see Talbot play better now.
It's like, you want the game reps? Well, fucking show me.
Exactly.
There you go, bud. I like that shit. That's what a quote by Billy G.
Anytime a GM swears in a quote to the media, we're reading it.
How many all-time quotes has he had? Remember the one he had early in the season when he
signed it, I think.
Remember when he put Spurgeon on the spot? He's like, why are we here or something? He's like, to have a good time. He's like, no, we're here to fucking win.
Yep.
Also, the Star Wars quote when we were at the house, that was a pretty good quote.
That must have been upstairs when you dragged him as we were leaving.
No, I was at the table and I found out he was a Star Wars guy. All right, moving right along here. Edmonton made a couple of moves to fortify the back end. They picked up Brett Kulak. They sent defenseman William Lagesson and a pick to Montreal. They also picked up Derek Brassard, little toughness up front. Got him from Philadelphia for a fourth.
Toughness?
23. Brassard? I mean, he's not a little gritty, no?
I would say at this point in his career, he's a pretty good bottom six where he's competent. I wouldn't say toughness.
I don't know. I always thought he had a little
I wouldn't use that word to describe.
Tough on the bar tabs.
But if you watch me coming from Anaheim and when you go to Edmonton, you become tough.
Yeah.
I mean, I had one tough incident with Tim Jackman. Other than that, I was tough as nails in the Oilers, and I'm joking, obviously. But I like these moves.
Tough on the rubbers.
I like these moves.
Tough on the
Kulak.
countertops.
I saw a couple people saying Kulak isn't really an upgrade from what they had. I disagree. Skates well. He had a nice assist when the Montreal Canadiens beat the Oilers in Edmonton a few weeks back. I think of that one. He rushed it down the left side, threw it in front. There was a goal. I think Lehkonen might have scored the goal.
Tough on the Cactus Club servers in the fucking
the billionaires
room.
cut. And then Brassard is
tough on the billionaires cut.
Oh man, I just said that. That was tough. You
just said that?
You don't listen, dude.
That's tough.
Try again. Brassard, obviously, not being a tough guy, he can come into the lineup. He could play third or fourth line. And listen, I was the guy who said you don't sign Evander Kane. Don't sign Evander Kane. He's got 20 points in 23 games, 12 goals. He's played phenomenal hockey. I was dead wrong there. I've been dead wrong a million times in my career as a podcaster. But Brassard coming in, he's a depth guy. And he can add a little bit of scoring while also being responsible in his own end. So Edmonton didn't go out. They didn't have the means to go out and make a bunch of big splashes. Koskinen under Jay Woodcroft is .921 save percentage. We'll take that. We don't hate that. So we got a little run
against
going.
AHL teams.
We got 5-game winning streak.
Against AHL teams.
We beat Tampa. We've beat a bunch of good squads. You have no idea what you're talking about. And as I wrote on Twitter, you would know an AHL team. And I'll tell you this.
The Marlies.
The Oilers right now have won more games in a row than any other team in the league. So we're flying high, and we just made 2 depth additions that I don't dislike. So on to the Oilers, which, listen, I'm not saying they're better than the Flames, but I think they only have 2 less wins than the Flames. Maybe 3. Let's not act like the Flames are that much better than them. 3 more wins in the span of 62 games is not that crazy. So Nice job, Ken Holland.
Tough on the millionaire cut. Did you say millionaire cut or the billionaire cut?
I said the billionaire's cut.
You guys already mentioned Rickard Rakell getting traded from Anaheim to Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh sent back a second and 22, Zach Aston Reese and Dominic Simon. So moving right along here, let's see. Dallas, they made a couple moves as well. They picked up goalie Scott Wedgwood from Arizona for a conditional 4th and 23. If Dallas makes the playoffs this year.
I'm going to be real, RA. I couldn't give 2 fucks about the Dallas Stars right now.
Okay, well.
I still think it's a tough out if they get in. It's a tough out, but I'm kind of with you because it's been such a hot and cold season. I haven't seen much. I haven't heard Suter's name at all. It's just been their best players now aren't their highest paid guys. Ben and Sagan have taken a big time back seat to Robertson and Hintz. So it's been a weird year in Dallas.
They also had your boy, this is Vlad Nemestikov, for a 4th and 24 from Detroit.
Okay, well, now I care. That might move.
I'm in now.
I'm pushing my chips in on the
by the way, that take ended up not being incorrect that year. We gave you a lot of shit. I think he scored some pretty big goals, didn't he?
I think he had 4 tucks in playoffs in 2 rounds, 5 tucks.
Yeah.
For a depth guy, that was a pretty good. Yeah. That was my undercover pick, and I think he got moved for a 4th rounder. So, but as far as Dallas is concerned, I would much rather see them getting healthy Vegas Golden Knights than watch the Dallas Stars bore us to death all the way to a cup final and then right?
So it'll be the 2 wild card teams. I guess it could be Edmonton, Nashville, Vegas.
I think 100%
Dallas.
LA Kings end up being a wild card team.
Wow, you don't think they finished top 4?
Absolutely not.
Wow, because they've played more games than the other top 2 teams in that division.
Yep, that's correct.
Okay, so yeah, I don't know. I think LA could end. I don't know. That's tough because Vegas is struggling, man. They are not a great team right now. They have so many injuries. But I really want Vegas to get in. I'm with you. We need the Golden Knight. I mean, if they trade for Eichel and they don't get in,
I think with their healthy roster, there's no denying that's a playoff team. They've been the worst riddled team with their top guys being injured. So look out for the Golden Knights.
We'll keep an eye on him, Biz. Carolina added Max Domi. It was a 3-way trade with Columbus and Florida, but he was the main player there. Max Domi for prospects, basically. They also extended Jesperi Kotkaniemi 8 years, average annual value $4.82 million. But Max Domi traded once again. He can add an element to Carolina. He can never have too much scoring in the playoffs.
Yeah, I saw Torts on ESPN mention. I don't really know where he fits in. He said Max Domi's a good player. I tried working with him. It did not work out. It seems like he's been in a lot of different places, so I don't know if he's not happy with roles he has or coaches aren't happy with his play, but he continues to move around while having a bunch of skill and the ability to kind of produce offensively, but this is kind of another stop for him. I don't know where he will fit in that lineup, but obviously Carolina is not going to ruffle any feathers in that locker room or change any of the dynamic they have unless they believe that he could really help that team out.
We interviewed Jordan Martinook. They're a north-south team. That's how they want to play. If he wants to maybe fit in the bottom six where he's a crasher and a banger, playing a physical game, getting to the net, making hard plays, yeah, he could fit in. But I was surprised to not see them make a big splash.
Yeah, I know. I was too. They kind of sat quiet, and there was a player I think everyone said that they were involved in. I don't know. Somebody was mentioning it earlier, but they didn't get him. I don't remember who it is. It's slipping my mind right now. But they are happy with their roster. They're happy with their D. I know that. And their goaltending's been sick with Anderson finally getting out of Toronto and probably feeling a little bit more relaxed at the rink. But yeah, I thought they would add a little bit more. I did.
Tampa, defending champs, they loaded up a little bit as well. They added Brandon Hagel. They got him from Chicago, as well as a 4th and 22 and a 4th and 24 for Boris Kachuk, Taylor Radish, and a 1st and 23 and a 1st and 24. So
Coleman 2.0.
Lightning mortgage in the future.
2 more years with Hagel at a $1.5 million cap hit. And people keep going back to the quote that Stamkos said about them leveraging the future to win now.
Yep.
I don't even look at it like that. That's just a great trade. You give up two late first-round picks. You're telling me one is going to end up playing to the level of which Hagel can add to their lineup? I don't think so. And when you look back to and Grinnell, you sent the text or the original tweet to the group chat. At the time that Coleman got traded, he had 21 goals in 2019-2020 season when he came from the New Jersey Devils. I think they gave up a little bit less than what they did now, but you add on the extra year at a low cap hit. And I believe at the time Coleman was a $1.8 million cap hit and he had 1 year remaining. So he ends up winning back-to-back with the Tampa Bay Lightning. I look at that as the exact same type of trade in the fact that Hagel might even end up on their top six.
And he's only 23.
And he's 23 years old. And people also said he's got, he's not one-dimensional either. Like, he's got some sandpaper. He'll finish his hits. He can do a lot of different things. And I look at Brisebois, man, he is a fucking genius. And I didn't really even know much about Hagel. I hadn't paid attention to him until they made the trade. And then I looked more into it. I think this could be the guy that gets him over the edge. And then they ended up adding Paul as well.
Yep.
I said on Sportsnet, I don't really spend much time watching the Ottawa Senators. He's at, I believe, a career high in goals so far this season with 11 so far. He's probably going to be their third line center. They keep that fourth line together of Maroon. I forget who the guy
Perry and Pierre-Edouard Bellemare.
Bellemare, that's the one.
So you'll mention, okay, they lose Coleman, they lose Gaudreau, and they lose Gord. Well, now you bring in Paul, who kind of reminds me of Gaudreau. I don't know if he's as tough, but I think he's still willing. Hagel's a very similar player, just like you just mentioned all the numbers to Coleman. And then Ross Colton is awesome.
Yeah.
So he's kind of your gourd. And then I know that fourth line has been there, and Perry's obviously had this great year. He's at, 12 goals, right around there on the fourth line, playing power play. Maroon does his thing in the playoffs, tough to move. That's a fourth line that holds on.
He could very well be a guy who's a healthy scratch in the playoffs. If every guy that we talked about ends up being healthy going in.
Tampa is right there to get a three-peat, and nobody has three-peated in over 45 years.
The Islanders in the early 80s.
So they're looking, and that's why Stamkos' quote. Did we say it yet?
No.
Right
Stamkos back in February. Pal Chris Johnson retweeted yesterday, I believe, was, "It's easy for us to dismiss draft picks because we're probably not going to be around when they come through. We want to win right now." For GM Julian Brisebois to be able to put the chips all in and get rewarded has been pretty amazing. I mean, yeah, as a player, that's what you want, man.
I mean, look at this team. It's unbelievable. They lost that third line, and now I'm looking at Left Wing Lock, which is a great website. You can see every team's lineup for each practice, each game, and it's just Colton, Hagel, and Paul on the third line. It's like they are replacing exactly what they lost, and they still have those top six forwards that can play with any top six in the league. So right now, if you're looking at Tampa, Colorado, I don't think anyone would be that surprised at a possible cup final of those two teams, and what a battle it would be. And then when you just look at the D with Hedman and McDonough and the size of Cernak, Bogosian's played real well, Sergachev, it is such a good hockey team that is going to be right there with the best goalie in the world. I argued Avery about this. Yes, Shesterkin is going to win the Vezina this year. He could even win the MVP. No one in their right mind would choose to have him over Andrei Vasilevsky. I'm sorry, Rangers fans. I'm not saying Shesterkin couldn't turn into the guy Vasilevsky is. He has 2 straight cups. He has a Vezina. He will win another one, I'm sure, and he's the best in the world.
Oh, all right.
Until you lose back-to-back playoff games, you're the best in the world.
It's crazy.
Avery's on waivers.
And for that, to pick up Nick Paul from Ottawa, they traded Matthew Joseph in a fourth and 24, by the way, and they also picked up Riley Nash. There's another depth guy.
So apparently Paul wanted to stay. He just couldn't get the number.
Which is odd. He's a pretty good player. He's the assistant captain there. I'm surprised they couldn't come to an agreement.
Yeah, so Riley Nash, they got him from Arizona for future considerations. It's good little depth guy for that fourth line. I'm sure you wouldn't be a surprise to see him if someone gets dinged up. Let's see. Calgary solidified their forward depth a little by picking up Cal Yancroke earlier in the week from Seattle for a trio of picks. The pending UFA making $2 million. Seattle's going to retain half of that. 26 points in 49 games. He's cousins with new teammate Elias Lindholm, and the two of them and Markstrom are all from the same Swedish town. How do you say it? What? Gavel? Gavle? Do you ever hear of it?
No, I never have, but that's so sick to get the chance to play with your cousin on one of the best teams in the league to try to chase a Stanley Cup. That's unreal.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty pumped. And Jarnkrok had some great seasons with Nashville, right? A playoff-type player. And Lindholm's obviously had the best year of his career so far. So that's exciting for those guys.
Yeah, and I think that has a lot to do with the fact that Monahan, he's coming off an injury-riddled offseason where he got a couple surgeries. I think bilateral sports hernia. He had his groin fixed up and even maybe his wrist. And over the last 15, 20 games, he just, I don't know, man. It's like the wear and tear, it can add up. But right now they have him listed as a fourth-line center. You go from a guy maybe 3 seasons ago, he was a point-a-game player. So they had to add somebody on that third-line center position who was a guy who can go up and down the lineup. And, it was a great move. It was the move they needed to make, and it sucks. And who knows, maybe Monahan ends up catching fire, which would just be an added bonus. But a big reason why I think they ended up making that trade.
And sometimes you see some guys without the foot speed that was once there when they were younger, and Monahan was never the quickest player. Now, along with the injuries, maybe struggling. But the crazy thing is, and I was a horrific plus-minus guy, so I'd like to think that sometimes it is a little bit of an overrated stat. Analytics people will mention that it really doesn't matter and that the true plus-minuses are the Corsi and things like that. But they got Gaudreau. I'm going to list off some plus-minuses of the Flames. They got guys at plus 44, plus 37, plus 46, plus 20, plus 26, plus 25, plus 15, plus 10. It goes on and on and on. You get to Sean Monahan, minus 14. So nobody is even remotely close to him in that lineup. So it's been really a tough season for him. Enough where I heard there was some real mentions of him getting traded today. Now that didn't go down, but if he can improve his game and get to a level that he was at not 3 years ago when he had 80 points, but even the past few years, then they become even more dangerous. But it's been a real tough go for him. You never like seeing that.
All right, just a couple more deals here, boys. If you want to chime in, jump in. We got to mention them, though. Nashville added defenseman Jeremy Lauzon from Seattle. They sent the second and 22 that way.
Blockbuster.
He's got one. He's got one more year left at 850K, so he's got some term there. That's why.
That's Seattle though, doing good work.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, they got that guy from in the expansion draft, or was it?
No, it was. Yeah, he was Boston. The Boston Explosive.
Yes, he's expansion draft free pick, and boom, you get a second rounder. They had a bunch of that, and so they're doing Ron Francis is doing a hell of a job because he didn't get the chance to swindle every team like Vegas
between.
did.
Seattle and Arizona, they have every single pick in this year's upcoming draft, first and second round. That's quite the feat.
Arizona has as many picks that would fit into the arena to watch the game next year that they'll be playing in.
We're going to do
this is seventh favorite team.
And, Winnipeg, I mean, they're not doing nothing this year. They, added Mason Appleton. They lost Nathan Beaulieu. They sent Seattle a 4th and 23 for Appleton. And from Pittsburgh, they got a 7th and 22. They also picked up Zach Sanford from Ottawa for a 5th and 22. The Canucks swapped out a Travis for a Travis. They sent the 3rd and 22 to Toronto for defenseman Travis Dermott. And then they sent Travis Hamonic to Ottawa for a 3rd and 22. It's a separate pick, not the same pick. And the Kings added defenseman Troy Stecher from Detroit for a 7th and 22. I believe that's about it for the major deals. I know there was some, depth deals, minor league type guys, but I think that's pretty much it for everybody. We do want to let you know that if you want to win the Stanley Cup, you need a championship team. If you want to win at buying a home, you need the team at Cross Country Mortgage. They're your goalie, your defense, and your forwards. When the gloves come off, you can count on them to back you up and get it done. Cross Country Mortgage has a team of loan officers dedicated to getting you the best possible loan terms available. They have an average close time of 21 days, which is ridiculously fast. They've got a wide variety of loan types, which means they got everything to cover everyone. We have some exciting news as well. They're giving away free Barstool and Cross Country Mortgage sweatshirts when you sign up to refi or get pre-approval while supplies last. Take it from some guys that know how important it is to have a team that's got your back. Cross Country Mortgage is dedicated to getting it done for you. These guys are great. My boy Chris Devo works there. They do a terrific job. Even if they don't end up working with you, they're great people just to work with through the process. So go to ccm.com/Barstool so Cross Country Mortgage could take care of you through the buying process. Cross Country Mortgage, LLC, NMLS 3029. All loans subject to underwriting approval. NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Are we done with the hockey talk?
We're done with the trade talk. We can whiz through the last. We got to give Ovi props. He's now 3rd in all time in goals. I know we give the weekly update, but he did pass Yago at goal 767 Wednesday versus the Islanders. Nice little snipe right off the face cloth. Losing my tongue here.
Wasn't he blowing on his stick before he actually scored the goal?
Yes, he was.
Was he?
Yes,
yeah, he was blowing on it. They got it right on the feed, and then boom, snapped her back. How many? I bet you he scored 50 of his 700 and how many goals within 3 seconds after a face-off has been won in the offensive zone.
So either back to Mike Green, either back to John Carlson, either back to Matt Niskanen, and then boom, right over goal.
Boom.
It could be more than 50.
Might be 100.
The craziest thing is, it doesn't matter how many times we say it. It's like, if you've been in an NHL locker room pregame meeting, you go over what every team really likes to do. And you go over what guys do what and what guys' strengths and weaknesses are. And every single team for 20 friggin' years now has basically said, Ovi one-timer. Yet no matter what, it is unstoppable. It's like when an entire league is focused in to stop one play and he still gets it done, it shows what type of talent we're actually watching. So he continues to climb the ranks, and would you say it's like kind of like a no-brainer now he is going to beat Gretzky's record? Is it still are you still willing to say maybe not? Or
if somebody said, all right, I'm holding a gun to your head, life savings, yes or no, is he going to break the record? What are you putting it on?
I'm saying yes.
Yeah, Yeah, barring a catastrophic injury, yeah, he's going to break the record. I mean, I wouldn't say it's a no-brainer just because there's so much of a gap still. I mean, what's it? I don't know.
So he got 40 again, which is his 12th time, which ties Gretzky for the most 40-goal seasons
I think he
in league
beat
history.
Gretzky, or do both of them have 12?
They both have 12.
Yeah, he tied.
So the only chance it could stop is say this year he's got 20 games left, he probably gets 8 more. Say he gets 46 to 52 this year. The only chance it could stop is if next year he goes to like 18. You know, he would need an enormous drop-off to then be like, oh, shit, I don't know. Now he's, 37, 38. But I'm with gun to my head. I'm saying it's just a matter of time.
Yeah, I agree with you. Next up is Gordie Howe's 801. I don't know if you saw Jagger made a video. He congratulated him, but kind of threatening to come back, kind of winking when he said it. Making it a little funny. He's pretty funny online, Jagger. Let's see. The game you covered on TNT Biz last week. The Folignos became just the second father-son duo to reach 1,000 games played in NHL history. Nick Foligno obviously played his 1,000th with the Bruins, and his dad Mike did it with Buffalo. His brother Marcus still got a few hundred games to go. The only other father-son to do it in history, Bobby and Brett Hull, many moons ago. Let's see. Also that night,
Gonna
pretty
have to
cool.
get his old man with a turkey baster pretty soon if Marcus ends up hitting it.
Pretty cool video from that same game, Biz. Tyson Joe's first game with Minnie, and they let him read the lineup card. You got to think, as a player, that's got to be very welcoming, and plus he kind of...
Nerve-wracking, too, though.
Yeah, but he had fun with it, though, I think, because he's been around a bit, and it kind of endeared him to the team. So would you agree, Biz?
I mean, yeah. I mean, I struggle with the
wouldn't
lineup
want
card.
that first game.
God, I'd be butchering every fucking name. Yeah, but he crushed it, created great energy. It was a great game. I mean,
unreal game, yeah.
Everything from the Marchand bag tap to the scrap between Frederick and how do you say the other kid's name? Duhaime,
I think. Yeah.
Who held his own early on, but Frederick ended up taking it on later on. I think that might have been a response to the Frederick hit earlier in the season.
He's still paying that tab, no doubt. On Kaprizov,
on Kaprizov. So he's paying, as you said, he's paying that tab. So a well-fueled rivalry.
That one gets me too. Rivalry.
The coolest part of the game was there was a bunch of cool
Other
parts.
than the bag
two
tap.
things was McAvoy had one of the best overall games I've seen a defenseman play this year. Hammering guys. I think he had 7 or 8 shots on net. A dominating performance. You see why he's a top 5 defenseman in the league this season.
Two of the hits, he knocked the guy over and then was like trash talking and then hit the guy again.
And one of them was Kaprizov. And then the other part that was crazy was Zuccarello sent Kaprizov on a breakaway with a beauty pass up the middle. It was sick. He found the seam, and Swayman made a big save. And then he did the exact same thing. I think it might have been a backhand pass this time. Maybe not. But he sent him in again, and then this time Kaprizov just quick wrist or shelf top right over the glove. So it was pretty cool to see, Swayman get him once, and then Zuccarello send another beauty pass in and give him another breakaway. So that was a playoff game. That was a great hockey game.
Swayman was getting the ladies with the pregame shirt off with the titty bounce.
Yeah, I saw you talk about that. He was just shaking those titties, Terry Tate style. That was impressive. I've never even had pecs to even try to do it, but it'd be cool as fuck if you had it.
Pretty jack for a goalie. And
I was surprised.
And very, very confident for a young goalie with the camera on him on our national broadcast to be titty shaking like that, all right?
Yeah, that was good stuff. I like seeing Frederick kind of finally latching on with that third line too, Grinelli, because people give him shit in Boston because he doesn't score a ton. It's like when the Bruins drafted him, they literally said we envision him as a third line. He's not a top 2 line guy. They literally said that when they took him in the first round.
He was also in and out of the lineup for a lot of the first half of the season.
Yeah, he's had some fits and starts, but he's gotten real comfortable on this third line with Coyle and Smitty.
That's a good fit.
He's had some good chemistry, and as far as paying that tab for that hit, he doesn't care, man. He's like they need toughness. I mean, seems like there's been more fighting. I haven't done numbers on it, but there seems like there's more fighting and physicality in the last 3 months than there's been in fucking the past few seasons, Biz. So you can't get rid of a guy like that. You need a guy, even if he's not scoring to your liking, you need that physicality.
Spark plug.
Absolutely. Jonathan Quick, he was honored for playing in his 700th game Tuesday night in L.A. It was the first game back home. It was a pretty cool thing. They brought out Dustin Brown, Anze Kopitar, Drew Doughty had not a fedora, but some kind of hat on. He was all swagged out there. But, they presented gifts to him and his kids. It was pretty good stuff. And then, digging up some stats. You go back to that 2012 run. He played every minute of the playoffs. 16-4 with a 1.41 goals against, 9.46 save percentage, 3 shutouts. Obviously won the Conn Smythe, but probably one of the more money goalies of the last decade, wouldn't you say?
Oh yeah, and on a team that maybe had the most dominating run to the Stanley Cup I've ever seen and will ever see.
Which one? The first one?
The first one, when they were the 8th seed but lost, I think, like 3 games on the road.
Yeah.
They lost 3 games on the way to the Cup final and then lost 2 in the final.
We beat them once. That was it. They beat the wheels off us.
As the 8th seed. Just an absolute trucking of the entire Western Conference.
And as suspected, Thomas Hertl is going to stay put with San Jose. He signed an 8-year extension worth $65.1 million, a little over $8.1 million cap hit AAV. He's got a no-move clause for the first 3 years, then a modified no-trade clause and a no-move clause. Let's see, the 2012 first-round pick has 371 points in 563 games, 42 points in 62 playoff games. He don't want to go anywhere. San Jose didn't want to get rid of him, so they showed him the money. Let's see, Big Z turned 45 the other day. Got to give happy birthday to Big Z, oldest
Big
guy in the
Z
league.
still doing it. I
Still
thought you could maybe see some teams must have been calling Lou about him. The Islanders did nothing. They didn't trade Clutterbuck. I thought a bunch of teams would be calling about him, and then maybe Big Z, but all those guys basically either decided that they didn't want to go anywhere or Lou wasn't going to move anyone. But happy birthday to the big man.
Tough news for Ottawa. The stud defenseman Thomas Chabot, he's going to be done for the year after breaking his hand Wednesday in Columbus, versus Columbus, rather. Big loss for the Sens. Tim Stutzler, he had a lower body injury. He's going to be questionable, but tough loss for Ottawa. I know they're not going anywhere this
Probably
year.
loving it. Lottery pick.
Yeah, they're like, good. Get our best defenseman out of the
Every good
lineup.
player
Always
out of
looks
the lineup.
always find this silver lining.
It's tanking season.
Robin Leonard's been hurt too. Jesse Granger said it doesn't sound too good right now. And right now, man, like this team had 2 number 1 goalies, and now they don't have a number 1. I know Brassard's been playing well. This Logan Thompson's been playing well as well, but they're not a bona fide number 1 at this stage. And I don't know, do they muff this Marc-Andre thing or what?
So Leonard snapped back, right, and said,
Vegas is a team of side pieces. Like, they are not loyal.
No,
They're
they'll
not
gas
loyal.
anyone. They'll gas anyone at any moment. See ya. Thanks for the service. Get rid of you.
Going to the
You're
Rhino.
done. My thing is though, like Leonard ended up clapping back at somebody online, right, and saying that this isn't true.
About season-ending injury, no. He said no, it's not. That's not the case. But who knows?
Yeah,
It's weird.
Yeah, it is weird.
Do you have the tweet? Do you want to bring it up, Grinelli?
Daily Faceoff tweeted out, Frank Saravelli gave an update on Robin Leonard's health today on the Daily Faceoff show, and it doesn't look good for the Golden Knights netminder. And then Leonard responded to it, not true, again, with the face covering emoji.
Okay, so I mean, I guess in that aspect, he's saying I'll be back soon.
For
but
the Cup final.
Yeah, I'll be back for that final series. I think Saravalli would obviously be pretty dialed in. That guy knows what's going on. So there's some miscommunication from somewhere along the way.
Yeah, it fucking seems to happen all the time. Biz, this quote from Darryle Sutter doesn't sound like he has too much hope for whichever wild card team plays Colorado in the first round.
Mind torpedo.
Gee, how about we roll that?
He's playing games.
Because you still have to make the playoffs, right? You start the year, there's 164 points, right? So then you got to work back off that, and you still got to, Edmonton and Las Vegas are still the best teams, right? On paper, you guys said it, I said it. On paper, they're the best team. So you have to stay ahead of them teams to make the playoffs. The wild card, and I've said 100 times, the wild card will not. It'll have to be team fall off the face of the earth for a wild card to come out of this division. And if you are a wild card team, I sure as hell don't want to play Colorado in the first round because it's going to be a waste of 8 days. So that just tells you what you have to do every day. Anybody that's comfortable or cozy, I'm saying it right now, you won't last long.
I mean, you don't usually hear a coach say that. We know you don't know who's playing yet, but it's still fucking hilarious to hear him say it.
So he would play these type of games both times they went onto the Cup run, just kind of pumping up other teams. Oh, David versus Goliath type of situation. So I think he's putting a full-on hex on the Colorado Avalanche, especially after all these moves, Whit.
Yeah, he's also probably setting his team up if they do play him. Like, they're better than you. Yeah, like the mind games. There's no doubt that he believes his team could beat him. But just to throw that out there, it's like, let's try to just like sewer them in any way possible in a way that I'm not doing it too obviously. I mean, it was hilarious. The issue I have with Sutter, Biz, and in terms of your team, Calgary, you're one of your Western Conference teams, they had some big mishap this week with Darryle Sutter calling out the medical staff. Just a totally unnecessary move where you'll never ever see that happen.
I don't think it was a call out.
Oh, it was a call out.
No,
it was a call out. And folks at home, this is what happened. Eric Branson took either a puck or a stick to the face, his facial area. I missed exactly what happened.
It took 33 minutes to get him stitched up.
It took 33 minutes for him to get stitched up. Now, this game was at home, correct? Yeah. It was a home game, which means your team doctor is the one that's doing the work. He's doing the stitches. Never in a million years would you hear a head coach call out his own team staff and saying, you're doing a bad job. You didn't do it quick enough. I could have done it in 10 minutes. I stitch up cows back home. Well, maybe Gudbranson didn't want to look like a cow who got stitched up on the farm. And for a head coach to come out and really call out his staff, it's a crazy move. You can call out players, and I got a couple texts right when I tweeted it. Good for you, because the staff in Calgary.
Oh my God.
You want me to read it to you? You want me to read it to you?
Pump.
You want me to read it to you?
Pat yourself
you want me
on
to
the
read
back.
it to you? No, I'm not patting myself on the back. I'm calling out your head coach who's calling out his staff, who's working their balls off.
He didn't call him out. He simply
what do you mean he didn't call him out?
He simply said he could do a faster job.
Between us, I'm glad you said something. The training staff is incredible in Calgary. A totally unnecessary bullshit comment from the head coach. So let me tell you, that
was
did
probably
not go
yourself texting
that did not go unnoticed, Biz. And for you to say he's not calling them out is crazy. He literally said I could have done it quicker. What does that mean? He's calling them out.
If you own
He's calling them out.
If you own a NASCAR team or an F1 team and they didn't do a good job of changing the tires and it cost you a race, would you not talk about it in a press conference?
I would call out players on my team. I would never call out the staff that I consider myself equal with.
Well, maybe the staff member was
the owner of a NASCAR team is not equal with the fucking pit crew. The coach of the hockey team is equal to the staff that keeps the players healthy. That is a bullshit comment, and you know it.
Well, maybe he's saying, hey, if you guys can't get it done as soon. Hey, and this has been a problem in the past with the Calgary Flames. You remember when fucking Giroux McGinley, when they didn't have the pop-off blades, lost an edge, and it took them. Yeah, this happened.
When was that?
No, this happened against the Tampa Bay Lightning.
In the Cup Finals in like 05?
Yeah.
No cup in 05.
Oh, okay.
I partied that night with the cup too.
Oh, sick.
Jerome McGinley lost an edge, and they passed it back to the trainer. At the time, they didn't have the pop-off blades. And maybe all he's saying is, if this were a playoff-type situation, I don't want one of our top defensemen who might be maybe we need a big penalty kill, and all of a sudden the doctor's off in the crowd crushing a couple pops. Maybe he's enjoying the lower bowl seats he's got, fucking sea of red. Maybe he was on the Red Mile crushing a few pints before the game. He doesn't want it to take 33 minutes. He maybe wants it to take 10 minutes.
You do it in private.
So you're saying he deserved to get called out?
You just said he didn't get called out. Now you're saying he did call them out.
You're saying he deserved to get called out.
It's not a call out. It's simply saying he could have done it faster. He could have done it faster. He does it on the farm with the calves and the cows. He can do it. If you're unable to do it faster, it's okay.
You can't talk to him. It's
not a bad thing.
It's not a real discussion.
But if you need me to do it quicker, I'll do it quicker.
You do
he
it
not
in
only
private.
will call the lines, he'll not only figure out the penalty kill, he'll not only figure out the power play, but he'll stitch up one of his defensemen taking a high stick right to the yap.
I'll tell you what.
He'll do it himself. That is leadership. That's leadership.
Oilers head coach, if he was pissed, would maybe grab the doctor after. Dr. Naidoo. Hey, Doc, we need you to be a little bit quicker there. He would never go to the media and embarrass him like that and say he could do it better than a doctor. That was a bullshit move.
33 minutes, man. You tell me. Is that not a long time? That's the full...
How many stitches did he get?
RA?
I don't know how many stitches he got.
Well, fucking wake up, RA. You're the host.
No, I know, but they didn't say how many stitches he got. I don't think. I mean, that 33
I'm just
stitches.
kidding.
I don't think that's a call out. I think that's just saying, hey, if you guys can't get it done quicker, I'll do it myself.
All right. Okay, moving right along. Congratulations to, I hope I'm saying this right, Eve Gascon. She made her debut in the QMGAHL the other night for the Gatineau Olympiques. She was the fourth female to play in the CHL and the third to play in the Q. She made 18 saves in a 5-4 loss, but her coach is very proud of her effort and all the shit she had to go through, all the media, and being only the third female to play in that league. And coach is very proud with her accomplishment.
Congrats to her. That is an awesome thing. I know I've been the guy to say a female will never play in the NHL. I'm not even saying I hope it doesn't happen. I don't think it will, but that's an awesome moment. The fact she got to play in a game and the fact the coach said, great job, that was a great story. And to be a female and to play in a man's game is an amazing accomplishment. When on the other side of the fence, you have this absolute ridiculous scenario in the NCAA with this girl swimming for UPenn. She was born a man. She is now a female. She took a spot. Can you imagine at home, you people at home, you have daughters who work so hard at playing sports and love competing and dream of being a representative of their sport at the highest level. NCAA swimming. Can you imagine your daughter loses to somebody who was born a male? You are a man. You have a penis. You are stronger than all of the female swimming. And that woman or that man won the NCAA title. It's an absolute joke. I cannot believe it. I feel so bad for the girls. And you saw the picture because the girls who finished 2, 3, and 4, they took a picture together. It was an absolute bullshit scenario that I know is going to get a bunch of online discussion. It's a joke. And let me tell you, Caitlyn Jenner, who's now a female who was a male, she came out and even said, people who are born men and then transition into female should not be allowed to play women's sports. That is a fact in my mind. I was disgusted to see that. I can't believe it's an actual thing where then the girls, so the top 16 swimmers end up qualifying for the race. This girl, Rekha Giroux, I hope I'm saying her name right, from Virginia Tech, she finished 17th place in qualifying. So she didn't get to go to the NCAAs. And she's worked her whole life for that. And she ended up tweeting about it. And, of course, Twitter fucking blocked her and, silenced her. But I feel very sorry for those girls who had the chance to win an NCAA title and were robbed of that.
We get another.
Tough to argue that.
Yeah, I'm not trying to. I hope every single person is happy in life. And if you're born a male and you want to become a female, that's great for you. And if you're born a female and you want to become a male, that's great. I'm not saying it's just unfair to these other girls. It is unfair to them.
Yeah, well, we all had some craziness in the NCAA hockey as well in the CCHA final. Minnesota State scored an apparent overtime game winner. Well, the review for some reason didn't get done till 40 minutes later. The players were all showered. They had already taken a picture with the trophy. They had to call the referees back. These guys had to go back up, get dressed again, take a 5-minute warm-up, played. Minnesota State fortunately ended up winning for real the second time, because if it went the other way, man, it was already a clusterfuck, but if another team won, it would have been an even more bigger clusterfuck. You ever seen anything like that before? Like that long of a delay?
I have never in my life seen anything like that. It's something that you'd think right away they would review the winning goal no matter what, just because you never want that to happen. The celebration, the picture, the refs actually leaving. I had a kid reach out. He said, hey, dude, I was at the game. If you want to know how this went down, have me on the show, which obviously we have so much stuff going on, but what a wild turn of events to be all right, we won it. We're going to the NCAAs. We did it. What a year. And then to have to put some of the gear back on. It's crazy. And I guess it is cool for that team to end up getting the win, but a wild situation that I've definitely never seen before.
I mean, you want to get it right, but that much longer is crazy.
So something else, somebody else wrote me a message. This is the under-18 AAA Finals, Game 2, triple OT winner here in Alberta. And a kid... The tweet is from Brandon Ralph, at Ralph B something. And the kid comes down on a breakaway. It's behind the net. He just blatantly hits the post. And then it bounces behind the goalie and goes out. And the team went bananas. And they called it the winner. So sometimes there's definitely unfair bounces. And you wonder before replay, how many times this actually happened. And we have no idea.
Also, talk about unfair. And I forget what name it was. I got an email. And I know it was posted somewhere else. Whatever state game it was in Massachusetts. Some fucking idiot in the audience blew a whistle. So the kids fucking froze. Meanwhile, the play wasn't blown dead. The kid went down a breakaway, fucking scored, ended up winning the game, all because some asshole fucking blew a whistle in the crowd. I mean, like, I remember I was at a game. Actually, it was Big Jim Veazey back in his high school days, and someone blew a whistle in the crowd, and this was a bunch of, like, fucking Charlestown tough guys. They're like, fuck, can you pull that again? It's going to stuffed up your ass. This guy, like, shriveled and walked away. Like, they threatened his life because it's fucking high stakes, man. These kids are playing, like, the game of their life, and you got some idiot fucking adult, too. This guy was an adult blowing a whistle.
That was such
like,
bullshit.
Fucking, and so these kids get fucked in that game. So bad enough you got to deal with all these idiot parents fucking fight kids jumping over the glass to fight
Same
refs.
with the laser pointers.
And now you got fucking now you got idiots with whistles, man. Fucking stop being shitheads.
I got to shout out Sandwich High School in Massachusetts. So a good buddy of mine works at Old Sandwich, Fred. Actually, his son had a really hard accident about a year ago. He's doing great now, so I'm really happy for him. But he also teaches in the Sandwich school system. So he sent me a text. I guess a bunch of these kids are big fans of the show, so I want to congratulate them. They won the semifinal and the final in double OT. The same kid scored the winner in both times. So I want to shout out the seniors, Kevin Jordan, Anthony Kent, Caleb Richardson, Drew McKinnon, Michael Itry, Patrick Richards, and Matt Hemian. So I hope I said those names right, but congratulations on a state title. They were the 4 seed. They beat the number 1 and number 2 seed. So congratulations to them. And if you guys know Fred, you're good in my book. And RA, the last thing I had to say to you, I took a lot of heat about Dog and Winning Time. Everyone says RA's right. It's a great show, so I'm gonna give the second episode a go.
Which one is that? The one with the Lakers?
That's the Lakers one.
I asked a couple people at TNT and they liked it too, so I was on the fence about even watching it. What I did watch though was 14 Peaks.
Oh, how nuts is that?
Oof, makes me want to hike one of them, not 14 of them.
Could you think you could do one? Is that one of your life goals?
I would say after watching that, I would like to do one of them. That when the K2 one, no fucking way,
dude, crazy. How about the picture though of that he took that had gone viral of all the people on Everest?
Yeah,
Wouldn't it be such a joke to like climb Mount Everest and you get up there and there's like 300 people? Like I feel like that kind of cheapens it a little bit.
100%.
But the other ones were scary as shit. I did mention after I watched that though, you then watch the one where the dude free soloed and it's like it makes that guy like not even look that legit because he's like wired in the whole time, but still an amazing accomplishment. That guy was something else with the military background he had too.
Yeah, just the self-discipline to get up that early every day and do what he did, and just you have to be tapped and wired.
And he was like boozing too.
Yeah, on the you mean like before he would go up or afterward?
The night before he'd be like getting after
the party, get the morale going. Yeah, he's a special human being, and also born with like a cardiovascular system that is like specimen like.
Yep. Duncan Keith.
He was tested on a bike. They did it for the 3 minutes there at a certain altitude over 8,000 meters. And most people can't even last the full 3 minutes, and he did so with like an insane cardiovascular. So obviously a very special human, and to live out that dream. And then even when he went to China and he wasn't allowed to hike the last peak, and how he writ the government, and then he asked for everybody's help in order to get it done. Did you remember that part?
Yep. And they never help you out either. Like he
ended up asking for social media help, and then that got him over the edge. But just an insane documentary. I suggest everybody watch it. Very inspirational. And yes, I think at one point in my life I would like to at least hike one of those peaks that he hiked.
Because you're a hiker, you've been doing that stuff.
Yeah, I'm doing
doing little like bunny slopes and
from like all trails and stuff. like a 3-star from all trails. Not anywhere near what these things are.
Biz, I know you wanted to mention Barstool's new bar that opened in Philadelphia.
Looks awesome.
Yeah, just
like the one in Chicago. So this is the second one that's been open.
Yeah. I haven't seen either one yet. Well, we don't have one in Boston. We haven't been to Chicago.
Why is it? Was one coming? Oh, I guess those are the states where you can gamble right now.
There's 2 more opening in pretty soon. One in Scottsdale in Old Town.
Oh, Jesus.
But Scottsdale's not a gambling state either yet.
No, yeah, it is.
Arizona is.
Arizona is? Okay, well.
That's how you were gambling at home on the sports book every night.
Well, there you go.
2 things before we wrap up, guys. The spring golf merch drops on Wednesday, as well as a vlog from our time in Aspen is going to drop at 7 p.m. on Wednesday.
Is his basement in it?
A whole tour of the house
basement?
is there.
Oh, my God. Wow.
That's the trip that Biz and I and Sean took a private jet to Aspen. We saw Sheldon Walensky, the Colorado Extreme, all the cool things they're doing out there.
So they've donated about 400 sets of gear
awesome.
to kids. He built a rink right outside of Aspen, about 40 minutes. So he's growing the game. It's a pretty special thing. Watch on our YouTube channel. Subscribe.
He's trying to grow diversity in the game is what his big thing.
Okay.
And if you're in not just the Wheeling area, but the Pittsburgh area, quick ride. Biz and Grinelli are going to be there on Friday night with KB and Nick, two Wheeling legends from Barstool. So go check those guys out if you want to have a special night at the arena in Biz's final series of the Jungle Series of the East Coast Hockey League. So it was a crazy Monday. It's been a crazy couple weeks, and now we're in that stretch drive getting towards playoffs. We got a few shows left, and as always, we love all you listeners, and we appreciate all your support so much. That is from the bottom of my heart, even you Leafs fans. I may give you shit, but still, deep down, I think we'd enjoy having beers together. So have a great day. Peace.